Hello, Khalid.
Hey, hello.
Hello. I can't hang around for very long. So I've got some things I've got to do and some programs I've got to watch. But glad to help. I'm afraid I didn't catch your earlier hangout. Did you have anything interesting? I think George and Druss are on there, so that's a good start.
George and Dean also joined for a good deal of time.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, Druss didn't hang a lot.
Right. I'm afraid yes, I haven't. I've just started it now, and I can see George is on there. Did you? You ought to do. Did you do a presentation of how you did your NLM? And I think people would be interested in seeing your work on that.
No, I didn't. I have some videos and I have some materials like images and things like that. But for this hangout, I just wanted to let people come in and talk about what they were talking in Skype, because I feel it's a good platform instead of typing. So
yes,
why type when we can chat together and talk
and present diagrams?
What? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because there's nothing. If you want to explain something, it's, as they say, a picture is worth
Carlos,
1,000 words.
Well, check the YouTube. Let me give you the link. You'll find the Rumpus 2.0.
Right. Yes, I've just got onto your channel. Yes, I wasn't subscribed. I'm afraid. I'm subscribed now.
I'll put the video link here, just in case there was any chat. So Carlos, I put the link for this hangout in which group is this? Which group is this?
No, it's not.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh my god! 2 Rumpus for me at one session.
I can't see the link on the. Oh, there it is. Okay, right, got it now.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, you got a heavily groomed Carlos. So I got Carlos is coming, is he? Oh, right then, bloody hell. Yeah, Carlos is looking very well groomed there, I think. He's obviously dressed up to come in. He's obviously. They claims he's like that all the time. So.
I am.
Did you say you were married, Carlos? You got some woman keeping you in order?
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's all right. No wonder.
Definitely. Look, hang on. I'm gonna have to look. See, I'm well groomed.
You are well groomed. Oh yeah. Get very clear. You could be on the ski slopes with the sunglasses like that. Yeah. Oh, you're not up another pole again, are you?
Not at this second.
Right.
Not at this second, but I can be. He's gonna climb this one right here.
Bloody hell! Jesus Christ, Carlos. Do you have a head for heights?
Do what?
Do you have a head for heights? Do you not? You don't have a problem.
I don't fear no heights.
Sorry, are you scared by heights? I'm not quite sure.
No, not at all. I'm very comfortable up on top.
Right, God, I see. No, I mean, when I've been going skiing and I had to charge down, I get a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm scared of heights. I might be, well, a little bit perhaps, but
it's only natural. I mean,
yes, yeah. In fact, in this country, I think the most common way of dying is falling off a ladder. That is the most dangerous thing you can do in this country, is to get up a ladder. But I presume.
Yeah, over here in the south, the most common way of dying is saying, "Hey, yo, watch this," and then you do something stupid and die.
You presumably you are attached to that pole, presumably with some sort of stabilizing rope or something, are you?
Well, I have a lanyard.
Right.
In fact, here it is. I'll show you. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, this is-
There you go.
right. Oh, right.
So you can adjust it. You can adjust it to go around the pole or go around the strand of steel.
So do you have to
There.
climb it, or are there things you can stand on to walk up it, or do you have to actually put something round you to walk up it?
You have two choices. You can either use your ladder, 28-foot ladder,
Right.
or you can use what's called gaffs, which is the hooks on your legs.
Right. Okay.
Um,
And with the lanyard. Right. Okay.
and then you have on your belt what's called D rings, where you put the lanyard. So.
Right. Have you seen those lumberjack competitions where they run up a pole? So I know about 100 feet high or something, and they just run. They almost run up, and they pull the lanyard or whatever it is to grip it, and then they push up again. They almost run up the pole. It's just an amazing thing to see.
No, the only time I move that fast is when my wife says supper's ready.
Right. So what? Yeah, it's a chili or something has to be there, does it?
Oh, pudding, yeah.
For pudding, all right. So pudding. So you're built for strength rather than speed, then, Carlos.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. Look at that. Let me show you some of my stuff I got here. This is where some of my supplies come in.
Bloody hell, Carlos.
And what we do is, like, if we run out of all these splitters, we just turn this in and get a fresh one, and they have a team that fill these up. So it's pretty nice.
And I thought you did well. Karen.
What?
I thought you did well with Chris today. You kept him in order. I thought you were. You're getting quite pushy now, aren't you, Carlos? With you're not taking any bollocks from these flatties these days.
Well, not pushy, but getting a little more confident.
Yeah.
No. What's it called? Yeah, the other night with is it Sleeping Warrior?
Yeah. The transition. I thought you did really well there, actually.
Yeah, I just
there was some issue though you didn't get quite right. I can't remember what it was now. There was some question you weren't able to quite answer properly, and I can't remember what it was now. There was something, gravity or something. Was it gravity?
Yeah, it has to do with time and independent variable.
That was it. Yeah, that's right. You did well. I think you identified that it's duration that you can change.
Yeah.
So you can treat it like an independent variable, because almost all experiments, it's the duration that's an independent variable. Because obviously there are some things in an experiment, for instance, if you're dealing with the position of the sun or something, where it's the absolute time that's important in an experiment.
Right,
when does the sun appear? But most experiments, like chemical reactions or something, or how fast is a car if you accelerate it for 10 meters per second for 5 seconds, it's all about just the duration. It's just the time, the duration. It doesn't matter when you start and stop, the experiment will be fine. So you needed to pin him down on the fact you can control the duration. I think he did to a bit. There was some bit where he managed to dodge you. I can't remember now. But
yeah, because I was saying that, well, you can go outside and be exposed to the sun, but you can measure that amount of time you're exposed to the sun, and
and then you claimed, that's right. And he then claimed that, well, I can go out in the sun because it's not very sunny here, which wasn't the point. You're talking about a principle. You're talking about a principle, the general principle, not whether in a specific case, because the sun isn't there. Because all experiments involve, because that's the other thing that he doesn't understand. Multiple. Oh, that was it. I think it might be something just multiple causes. Almost all experiments have multiple factors in them. So something like getting sunburnt, it's obviously dependent on the sun being the amount of energy being radiated by the sun and your duration. In the sense, there's two factors there, and well, there might be a third factor: your skin color and things, and whether you've got lots of hair. So there's how you're covered in hair, your skin color. So probably might be 4 or 5 factors, and your genetic propensity to getting sunburned. So probably about 6 factors. But of course, he only ever talks, because he's come from the QE line of thinking. They only think there's only ever one cause, but you only have to remove one of those things, like there's no sun or no duration, and you don't get sunburn. So that's what you need to pin them down on.
And that's when I was like, you know what, this is just a semantics game, and I moved on. And then Jose kind of helped me out.
Well, it's more than semantics. I mean, that is actually fundamental. There's more than one cause almost in every effect. There's almost all the cause. So it's more than semantics. It's actually a fundamental thing that the flatties and particularly QE and Quantum Razor and Nathan Oakley and Riley seem to have got stuck on there. And you ever think this is why, for instance, Quantum Eraser says when people use distance or something in an effect as a cause, and they say, so you're telling me that distance causes, you know, X, Y, Z? No, it doesn't by itself, but it's usually a factor. You know, for instance, if you run for 10 meters, increasing your having it over, if you accelerate over, you know, 10 meters, that distance there is a factor. If you reduce the distance over which you're accelerating, you don't get up to such a high top speed. So there's always, and because almost everything variables involve a formula, you can normally reduce these things to a formula in which you usually have more than one independent one factor. So yeah, I think that was the thing. Something like that. I think you let him off a little bit. Otherwise, I thought you gave him a good pasting. So well done.
Well, you know, I have to kind of get comfortable with my language and.
Yeah, you do really well. Given this is your second language, Carlos, I think you do very well.
But, yeah, Jose said, "Hey, Carlos, why don't no?" He said, "Riley, ask him about satellites. Carlos knows about that stuff." And he said, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" I was like, "Oh." I said, "Well, let's talk about this."
I wish you get a better microphone, Carlos. It's quite difficult to hear you sometimes. It's
well, this one, this is my Bluetooth headset
right,
that I use before. But yeah, at home I actually have better equipment.
Right, yeah, because sometimes when you're debating quickly, it's sometimes a bit tricky to hear, just from the quality to hear what you're saying sometimes. But never mind.
You need to send a good super chat to Jose so he can buy me some. No, yeah, I do need to invest in some good ones.
Yeah, do that. It would improve your debating skills, I think, quite a bit, because it's sometimes a bit difficult to hear what you're saying.
Well, I already got the profile picture, you know, figured
out. You're ready on that one. Yeah, I think you've usurped me there, Carlos. I might have to go and get a different coloured shirt, and you've displaced me, I think, because you've got a nice. It's a nice picture you got there. God, honestly,
and almost cheeky, the haircut.
Cheeky devil. That's what I say.
Same angle, same haircut.
He's probably got the same beer there as well.
Yeah, the same, almost same lost. You know, you remind me now when you mentioned the sun angles and the duration and these things. You remind me of an argument I kind of prepared if someone sane would listen to it, not Anthony Riley. Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back, Carlos.
I would say my argument for the heliocentric model, not just the Earth being a ball, that the heliocentric model states that the Sun is an object, physical object, a star. The Earth orbit around it. There's motion that is defined with specific numbers that we know, and so we can check the spatial, you know, the place. The relationship between the Earth and Sun, the location of the Sun, it can be confirmed according to the model, and we can have independent variable, which is the north and longitude and latitude, and the time. But I wasn't sure if I can use the time as independent variable or not, because I need to pinpoint a specific time and location.
So I'm not quite with you, Khaled. What do we do? What are you talking about? I picked up what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, proving that the heliocentric model is correct, not just the Earth being a ball, by the relationship between the Sun, or the location of the Sun and the Earth. So my dependent variable will be the Sun azimuth and elevation.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Okay, right. Okay.
And my independent variable would be the that would change these dependent variable according to my hypothesis is the longitude and latitude.
Yes, though presumably you're not really. I mean, the longitude, obviously. Well, I suppose it's only if you're interested in over time. I mean, if you're, well, yes. So you trying to validate the position of the Sun over the period of a day or in the seasons. I mean, your analemma here obviously is a seasonal thing, isn't it? So
yes, and I have a Sun calculator that's separate. You just give me a date and a specific time of the day, and I'll give you the elevation angle and the azimuth of the Sun.
And sorry, did you say the time of day as well?
Yes, also the time of day.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. That's neat.
And what is more neat, it's a project that I would love to make, is building a sun calculator as a physical thing.
Yes, I think I saw your little 3D demo, and I was a bit surprised that your calculator. You seem to me anyway, superficially, I haven't really thought about this hard. But I would have thought you would want to align. You had these little protractors, and you had them aligned
Yes.
vertically and not horizontally. I thought it was trying to be a sundial, and those obviously have the platter that is horizontally aligned. Yet yours was, I suppose, you're trying to measure the elevation to the sun as well, I suppose. But
Yes.
I thought you would, for some reason, I thought you were also trying to work out the azimuth, which obviously is you relative to the horizontal, local horizontal, obviously, is your azimuth. And you're saying you return. So you're saying, given, sorry, what were you saying? If someone gives you the date and the time of day, you can give them the azimuth and the elevation. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Right.
Let me share the screen.
Yeah.
And as I said, I would like to use a physical globe model and maybe a string or a rubber band, connected from a point that is considered to be the sun, and move the Earth or that globe model in an orbit, and the rubber band would be connected from that sun to a point on the Earth, and
You know who's really good at building things and constructing things in a practical manner?
No.
The Carlos, bloody Carlos!
Oh.
Carlos is your man for that sort of building something practical and that's relevant to the real world. He's can whip up. I think.
I think he's not listening.
Yeah, there you go. There he is. He's probably got a drill.
What am I sharing? I don't know what am I sharing.
Hey Carlos, you've presumably got. Did I see you got a workbench and drills and things, and you can basically build anything? Is that right?
Just about anything. Yeah.
Bloody hell. That's pretty okay, Carlos. That's quite a thing. So what have you got, a table saw and all that sort of stuff then, a sort of bench?
It's mostly a electronic thing.
Oh, right.
I don't have a press bench press or lathe.
Lathe would be a bit much, but sort of a term.
I need to get one of those.
Right, and a sort of drill, what's it? Oh, I forgot what it's called. The drill that comes down that you can do drilling vertically.
That's a bench press.
Yeah,
press.
right. Yeah, not bench.
You need maybe one of those.
A drill. I forgot what it's bloody called now. Jesus Christ.
Drill press.
Yes, drill presses. That's what it's called. That's stuff.
I think so.
Oh, I've got a headache, so I might not be remembering what I'm trying to. Yes, I'm trying.
You don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, God, right. Yeah. So you've got a workshop, have you? So what electronics do you do then, Carlos? Do you actually build little bits of electronics then? Do you?
Like drones, like quadcopters.
Oh, right.
And I repair my stuff. I repair my let's see, my signal meter for DirecTV. I repair that one a bunch of times. Anything around the house. I mean, I fixed the washer, dryer. So anything that has to do with just simple electronics.
So you've got a drone. So you could be doing some of these drone observations like Soundly then.
Yeah, so I'm actually working. I don't know if you were there, but I'm actually working on converting a Phantom 3 into that has a fixed rectilinear wide angle lens.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting a different lens that you normally put in security cameras, so you can have a adjustable focal length.
All right.
So I'm going to be doing some observations with that. All I'm waiting for is the shell, because basically somebody else had a drone that they crashed and they gave it to me, and I just need to rebuild it on a new body because it was all cracked. That's what I'm waiting on to be shipped. I ordered it from China. So
right.
So once I get that in, I'm gonna be putting it in, and because it's adjustable focal length, I need to be able to adjust the zoom and the focus. So I will be putting some linear servos, and I'm gonna have to make those change the focal length and
And
Well, you're going to adapt the
you
leg.
know,
You're actually going to do this yourself. You're going to get some servos to actually manually,
Yeah.
control the zoom
Yeah.
dynamically.
Yeah,
Right.
so basically
Wow.
I'm gonna have a separate radio controller for
Oh, yeah.
that. So 2 potentiometers, one for zoom and one for focus.
Right.
So fortunately, I'm not gonna have assisted focus. I'm gonna have to rely on my eye. I am getting a bigger monitor so I can have a better
Right.
idea of focus. You know, normally your camera will have an assisted thing, and not only auto, but also you have something on the screen to tell you how sharp
Right.
your picture. Unfortunately, you know, you don't have that with DJI's software, but I'll make it work. What I can do is the most important thing is to know what the focus needs to be on, like, you know, on infinite, like
Yeah.
for the sun, and I'll do a few tests and have some markings. That way I know where to put it as far as those observations. Now for everything else, you know, trying to look at a house or a roof, you know, that's what you kind of want to have a better idea. But anyway, once I figure that out, that won't be a problem on observations for like a sunset or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm working on.
That's great stuff. I mean, I keep on meaning to do some more practical electronics, and I did quite a lot of theory at university. Well, a lot about, you know, so I know about sort of filters and the sort of formulas and things, but I never got round to really doing that. I did do a little bit of practical. I made a voltmeter and things using a digital analog converter, but I never did a proper sort of practical. I haven't done any really practical electronics. And I've always thought, yeah, it's really something I'd love to try. Like, I actually bought myself, though I have bought myself some practical electronics books in the last couple of years. I keep on meaning to do some stuff. So yeah, I always think that actually doing and building stuff is always really good. I've not really done enough of that.
Now it's coming more simpler, and I say simpler, more accessible. Like you can purchase a microcontroller,
Raspberry Pi or something.
Your Pi or Arduino, and you know, now you can actually instead of having to, you know, do a analog, you know, programming, you know, with stuff, you can actually go on the computer and say, I want you to blink this many times, you know, pulse with modulation. You know, you can you know, change the speed of a motor or a servo, and then you have input too, like, you know, there's input data, then you can use that and interpret that and use that for reference for output, you know. And just with analog, you would have to really know your craft.
Right.
So now electronic stuff is really like Lego. I mean, it's like, you know, you buy a servo, you hook it up to just about anything, a radio receiver, Arduino, a Raspberry Pi, and because it's pulse modulation, then it's a standard, you know, language. So, you know, same with the input stuff. You know, it's all Lego.
Yeah. I mean, Geostrebe was telling me about there's a new Raspberry Pi that's just come out with 4 gig on it and things. So you actually run a desktop on it, so you can do all sorts of stuff with it as well as something. So only $50 or something apparently for something with 4 gig on it. Yeah, that sounds really fun. Yeah, you got me going. I've got all these books on making and building some things with practical electronics, and there you are, bloody doing it. And I really got to get myself doing that.
It's very therapeutic. Like I said, I built multiple drones. You know, the cool thing about like quadcopters and drones is that you have you learn aerodynamics, you learn electronics, you learn about programming, because you got to connect those things to a computer and tell it, you know, you have to mess with what's called the PIDs, the potential differential. I forgot what it's called, but basically a drone when it gets blown out of the air or something, to adjust, it has to know how fast to make that adjustment, how powerful that input needs to be, and how fast to dampen it. So that's what's called the PIDs. Right. If you get that wrong, that thing will oscillate like this because it's going to overcompensate. So
right.
You learn that, and just you learn a lot with just that.
God, you got me going. Yeah, perhaps I ought to get myself a drone. God damn it! Yeah. Have you got any long bridges? So you could do I mean, are there any long bridges? Or I don't know. I can't remember. You may have told me where you live, but are there any long bridges near you that you could go and do a soundly type observation with over water?
No, not that I can think of. You know, one observation I really want to do, and I think it would be really cool, is finding a big body of water, and that has 2 very tall structures in either end, like 2 mountains. Now you go on one mountain and you set up, let's say, a very bright light, I say 1,000 feet, right? You go to the other side and then you set up a telescope at 1,000 feet looking at that light, right?
Right.
Then you get a drone and you also put a light on it. And now you fly the drone from where the telescope is, and you line it up with that light, and you keep flying it every like 100 feet or 200 feet and lining it up and getting a GPS tag of each one of those in elevation. So you have basically what you have is a tangent line from the surface. So you're using the light, that line, you know, from one mountain to the other one as reference, completely separate from the elevation of the water.
Right.
So what you're going to do is an actual independent straight line, just by line of sight, and then when you gather all those points, then you can see what the elevations are, and it should be from going from very high elevation to low because of the bulge, and then back to high. But the problem is finding those two mountains, you know, in a body of water. But if you think about it, if you were to, you know, fly that drone towards that light and try to line up the crosshairs of the telescope with the light and the drone every 400 feet, then you would actually have essentially a straight line independent from the surface.
Well, this is very similar to the Mind of God's experiment, if you remember him going on about this very thing.
Well, that's actually doable. It makes sense because you're using a visual reference away from the
But the trouble is, Carlos, that line is not straight. Remember, it's subject to refraction, standard refraction.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, get really high, but I guess, like you said, even then you might be.
Yeah, you'll get rid of. You won't have all the mirage. You won't have the inferior mirage stuff, but you'll still have the standard refraction.
It will not produce the radius of the Earth, but it will show curvature.
Well, the radio, some of the radio frequencies actually will be affected just like light. You know, you got to think about it. It's not, you know, it's very similar.
It's similar, but they're refracted less. I think normally, because it's light is just a higher frequency electromagnetic wave, you get more refraction with the light than you do with radio waves. But so you still get some refraction. So I mean, if you were to do what you were suggesting, you would it would only affect it, but you probably get a 20% error or something. If you because the light, even from a distant thing, or standard refraction, would be probably about 15-20% error, but it would still demonstrate it would be still a lot. You'd still demonstrate there was a curve in doing it, but the thing, if you wouldn't get exactly, because just doing this straight line stuff is just very difficult when the bloody atmosphere bends everything. Even at you know, even if you're at a decent height, you're still going to get the standard refraction. You won't get all the messy stuff. You won't get all that miraging and all the superior miraging and all that crap. You'll ditch that, but unfortunately you'll still be stuck with the standard refraction, the thing that you know, architects and surveyors and things have to deal with. But still, you still get a result from that though, Carlos, and it would still be a very interesting thing to see. Be great to see if you could confirm, for instance, the standard refraction. You could say, well, you know, if I allow for standard refraction, then you would get the right result for the Earth. But obviously, the standard refraction calculation does use R, so you know. But nonetheless, you could still confirm that you could even confirm that standard refraction is happening, because you would expect to see this error of about 15-20% in the height that you think you had to got there. But it'd still be a very interesting experiment. So yeah, definitely. And I think Khaled is showing us his.
Yes, this is the NLM, but I want to show the interface first for the calculator. This right section, I put the day or the date, days and month, then latitude, longitude, plus and minus, time in 24 hours format.
Right.
And that's it. And on the left hand, you get the outputs. It gives you the solar noon, sun elevation on zenith, day length, and then the sunrise and sunset azimuth and time.
Very good.
And then this section at the bottom here is
it's rather peculiar. You've got the inputs on the right hand side. Normally, I don't know whether this is an Egyptian thing. Possibly, yeah. You write. You read right to left, don't you? Yeah, we tend to think of the inputs on the left hand side and the outputs on the right hand side, but perhaps that's
exactly. It's inherited in my, you know, my everyday
your culture
procedures.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Now look at the second sheet is the equations and see how messy it is. It just, sometimes I fix something and I don't want to remove the older things, so
Yeah.
I keep it and it comes messy like this. And then here is the analemma.
Hmm?
And do you see where's my mouse? My mouse
Yeah,
is
we can see it.
hovering.
We can see your pointer.
Yeah, this is the sun angle in relation to empty focus.
What's an empty
Uh,
focus? I don't quite understand that.
Because the orbit is elliptical.
Yeah.
So every 24 hours or every solar day, the same longitude line should be facing the sun, but because the Earth goes faster and slower, so there's a slight deviation.
So when you say the focus there, that's the focus of the elliptical orbit.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, but that obviously that would only change over the period of a day, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't. It's long.
Well, okay, for many days. Okay. Oh, I see. You're telling me. So when does it change? Carol?
It's a long column of 365 equations, and I put them all to 0 here, if you can see. So when
you've got 365 equations, can't you?
Yeah, it's just copy and paste.
Oh, surely, Carl, you don't need to do that. You should be able to work it out. Surely, you should have an equation for the ellipse, surely, and you should just be able to have one equation that you put in the different.
Yeah, but this is just for the what do you call it, the chart. I need 365 dots.
Right, but you don't need to put the you don't need to copy the equation. You should be able to generate. Yes, for the plot. Yes, okay. But you're not generating the. You should be able to generate that from just one equation and feeding in the different parameters.
Well, that depends on my knowledge of spreadsheet and and programming.
Okay, so I mean, just duplicating the equation 365 times is a bit. I mean, imagine if you wanted to change that equation. I mean, obviously you could copy and paste it 365 times. But,
no, I just fixed the first one that I need to fix, and then I double click on it, so it changed all the equations.
Right. Okay. It's a little okay. It's a little bit odd, but okay. Yeah. I mean, okay, if it works.
Yeah, and this is how I changed all this column, the 365 column into a row into 0. I just put 0 here, and then double click on this corner, so all of them became 0.
Right.
So 0 here means the orbit is circular.
Right. So this is
so is
this the do you mean this is the eccentricity? Is that what you're trying to say it is? Do you know what the eccentricity?
Yes,
do you know what the eccentricity of an ellipse is? The E value?
It's something between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1.
That's right. Yes, and it's called E. It's usually given the symbol E. So is that what you mean? Is that what you mean by empty focus? That's the sun angle in relation to empty. That's not quite the eccentricity.
Oh yes. Well, I have to improvise a little bit to make some approximation.
Right.
Yeah. So the center in this calculator is the empty focus.
Okay, I still don't quite understand what you mean by that, but you're saying.
Well, don't bother. It's just
it's something to do with your position of where the focus of an ellipse is. Yeah, I'm like I sort of understand, but right, it's just empty is a bit odd. There's an odd term to describe. There's nothing.
The other focus opposite to the sun.
Right. Okay. So when you say it's empty, it means it hasn't got the sun there. You mean it's the the non-sun focus?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right.
So when I put it to 0, that shows the analemma due only the Earth tilt, perfect figure of 8. And if I undo the changes here.
Well, that's nothing to do with the tilt, is it? The focus is something different to do with the tilt. So are you saying that the I'm still a little bit because you're changing the focus. It's the angle to the focus. Okay, that will change. It's okay, right? Yeah. Right, so it is the angle to the focus. Okay, I see. Yes.
Yeah, and if you see here, the first one is 0.02, 0.01, 0.04, 0.08, 0.11. Yeah, so it's very small changes.
Yeah.
So this is the analemma due to both things, the Earth tilt and the
eccentricity, the eccentricity of the elliptical orbit. Yeah.
Yeah. initially I thought it's just the eccentricity, but then I want to show you something else here.
I thought you said originally when you talked about this, I thought you said first of all you put in the tilt and then you put in the eccentricity when that didn't work. But now you're telling me it's the reverse thing. You put in the eccentricity, you put the elliptical orbit in first and then you put in the tilt. Which way around?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I saved all the screenshots from my progress somewhere here, but maybe for another time.
Yeah.
I'll show you something. Something else. I'll have to share my whole screen, sharing that 3D paint.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not good at all with this.
Yeah, it takes a bit to get grips with. I'm still trying to get to grips with Autodesk 3ds, but obviously Dean's the expert. But I keep on being, I must upgrade my 3D graphic stuff. But so yeah, I can.
He was saying that the latest version of Blender is very easy, but I don't know.
Yes, I've also got Blender, and I did a little bit on that, but I've forgotten all everything I've ever learned about that. So yes, that's worth. I bought a book on Blender, in fact, to actually educate myself, and I've never got round to bloody.
You're just book smart.
I know, yeah, that's right. I'm just useless. That's right. They'd call anybody call you Carlos around to fix the thing, and I would say, oh yeah, you should do it like that or something, and you'd do it.
Together, there's nothing we can't do, Grumpus.
Yeah, that's right. The team, yeah, that's right. Combined, we're on the case.
Okay, so look at there. We have here two discs, blue disc and a red disc. Let's say that the blue disc represents the subsolar path, and the red one represents the equator. Now there's no tilt, and if I select the equator to give it some tilt, and first this green thing is like the direction of the sun on a specific time, and the yellow one is the longitude that is facing the sun at this moment. So it's like the solar noon for this latitude.
Right.
So now I look from top view, they match until I start to make a tilt. Do you see now?
Right.
So that what caused the figure of 8. And when you add the eccentricity, it makes the bottom side a little bit bulky.
Right.
But I'm not sure if I can make a good presentation out of these things.
Yeah, I'm not quite. I know what you're saying, and I know the effect, but I can't quite see what's going on there. You need to. Yeah, I mean, if you just you need to introduce some concepts gently, and then you can make a good presentation out of this. If you've got the content, it's just a matter of making it digestible and easily comprehensible by someone. Yeah, this is your thing, isn't it? That I.
Yeah, did you see that other one, the ball with the blue and the stripes and the sundials on the top of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think explaining the NLM on that one is better. Yeah, I should have opened that one.
Yeah, so I mean, what was that called?
What?
Is that the figure 8 thing?
Yes, that's called an analemma. Yeah.
Analemma, yeah.
Yes, it's a wacky shape. Sometimes I don't know whether on your globes, Carlos, you've got a couple of globes I saw. Sometimes they actually put that little shape somewhere on the print it on the globe to show you what the sun is doing over the seasons. It's just a result as Carlos Khalid was saying of the eccentricity of the Earth's orbit and the tilt, and you end up with that little shape.
Right. It's like an 8 with chubby at the bottom and kind of stretched out.
That's right. Yeah, you've got it.
I get you.
Yeah.
But it's not that chubby as I showed.
We're having difficulty here. We're having difficulty hearing you, Carlos. So you've got your nasty mic.
Because of my what?
Ah, that's better. We can hear you properly now.
Properly. Yes.
Sometimes you're difficult to hear with your bloody Bluetooth microphone.
Bluetooth. Well, that's what happens when you're talking inside a container.
Yeah, did you have a contain. No, I can't remember. No, you didn't have it. That's right. You didn't talk about containers with Riley, did you? No.
No, I don't. I stay away from that mess.
Container. No, from now on, when you say container, you don't say just container. You say container.
Yes.
I've seen it.
You've watched the Conspiracy Cats video, have you, Colin?
Oh yes, I love this guy.
He's funny as heck. Man.
He is good. Yeah, that's right.
You know who I can't really watch that much anymore? It's Simon Nan. It's like his humor doesn't really get to me anymore.
Yeah, he's not a great humorist. No.
No, he's not. It's a little slow for me.
Yeah, you're fast. You're fast. Yeah, you're fast there, Carlos. You're incisive. You get in there, deliver your punchline, and get out again.
Yeah. Well, hey, let me ask you something, Rumpa, since you're from that side of the globe. Nathan Oakley and Simon Dan both, they say, I have been Nathan Oakley or I have been Simon Dan. Isn't it this has been, like, for example, if I'm a host of a TV show and I go to the end, I say, well, this has been Carlos Pagan. Or do you say this I have been Carlos Pagan? Which one's correct?
Well, it's not a very... Yeah, neither. I agree with you. It's not. It's an American style thing to say. I wouldn't really advocate it as it's not a very English thing to say. I would say. What would I say? I would just say Would say goodbye.
I'm your host, the Rumpus, and
yes, that'd be more like it. Yes.
I always thought it was wrong, and I was like, that just don't sound right to me.
Yeah, I mean, like this is. I mean, I don't think most people are not qualified to use the words this and it. So many times they misuse the word it and this because it's got obviously it's reference. It's a pronoun, and quite often it's not clear what the it refers to, and this is similarly suffers in a similar way. It's very, and I actually try and avoid sentences with the word it in it because it can easily add confusion to what's being said.
Wait a minute. I just want to point this out. In one sentence, you said, I want to avoid sentences with it in it.
Yeah, well, I had to reference the thing I'm not using.
And then the next sentence, you said it twice.
Yes, but that's the key thing. When you see a sentence, quite often, in the same sentence, you'll see people who can't write proper English, in which they have the word it twice, and the it that it's referring to are two different things. So that's why people, and this is what people do. Don't formulate their sentences very well. They misuse the pronoun.
If you're talking about an event that happened on a time of day or something,
well, no,
it happened on the time of the at X time of day, so it was wrong. You mean that kind of?
No, that was fine because the it you've referring to, there's the same to it.
No, it isn't. One was the event, one was the time of day.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed that. Sorry. Okay.
Here we have conversational English and also written English.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to really think that through when you're doing conversational English. But I just wanted to make sure that I was not crazy because that just doesn't sound right. I was like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I'd agree. It's not a very nice. Yeah, it's not a grammatically very nice thing to say. This was. I mean, it's the guy still speaking, and this. And what's the word? This. I mean, another thing about using the word it. For instance, something like "it is raining." What that statement is a special. It's got a special name, that grammatical shape. But what's the it there? You haven't normally when you use a pronoun, you have to refer to the thing first, define it.
And what would be the proper way?
No, that's the favorite. No, that's the favorite flat Earth thing. What the it there is atmospherics.
Oh, stop it! No, hey, the other one that I can get is this video is entitled. Isn't it titled? Not entitled.
Yes,
but why people say entitled?
Yes, because they don't understand how to spell. Yes, because they think it sounds a bit more sophisticated to say entitled. Yes, you're absolutely right. Well said, Carlos.
It's entitled to be titled something proper. It's like, what the fuck?
When you say you're entitled, for instance, we're entitled to punch Nathan Oakley in the mouth when we hear him say abuse someone. We're entitled to get I don't know, our human rights. But yes, it's nothing to do with the title of a video. So it's people who don't understand English. So well done, Carlos. For someone who's speaking a second language, English is a second language. Your English is clearly better better than a number of people who's. It is a.
You have a different perspective. You have a different perspective because you have not been brought up hearing people say certain words. So I am learning, and I'm paying more attention. So I'm like, it's not entitled. I was like, its title is the title of the video.
Correct.
You moron.
And this is something that Anthony Riley does this all the time. He says we use scientific method. Now that's not correct. It's use the scientific method because when you have a noun that's singular, you either have to use a direct I forgot the bloody headache at the moment. The a or the.
Can I just say that you said "the" at least 9 times? Then I was counting. I lost count. It's either 9, 10, or 11.
Sorry,
I'm giving you the benefit and saying it was only 9.
Thanks,
but that
Steve.
was ridiculous.
Sorry, the definite article. That's what I was trying to say. The definite article or the indefinite article. So you either say the or a. So for instance, and this is a problem. I've had the odd lodger who's been from Eastern Europe. They cannot cope with saying. They just say, "Look, there is dog." As opposed to there is a dog or the dog. You can only have. I mean, when we use the plural, you say dogs. There are dogs. You don't put an F. But when it's a singular thing, you say a or the.
That's wrong.
Hold on, Dean. Let me finish. So when Anthony Riley says something like "we use scientific method," that's very, very poor English. I don't know where he's got that from. You either have to say we use a scientific method or we use the scientific method. You can't just say we use scientific methods. That's grammatically incorrect.
To say whatever he wants.
Wait a minute. You said we can't use the in plural sense.
We don't normally do that. No.
All right. We're going to say because you can say where are the dogs?
Yes, you can. Yes, that's
Let's
normally
take the dogs for a walk.
Yeah, it's optional though. You can either put it in.
Well, you won't say let's take dogs for.
Oh no, that's because. That's
Yeah.
because you're treating it as a singular thing. You just like the animals. So it's a because the object you're referring to is the collection of dogs. So therefore, that is treated as a single. It's like a group, a collective group noun. So dogs is the collective group, and so that becomes a singular thing. So you do say the dogs. Although
Speaking of dogs, hey George.
I don't know about you guys, but Con feels very much entitled.
Entitled to take a lump out of any flatty. Yeah.
The dog.
Hey, yeah, George, have you tracked? Yeah, you ought to be able to track. Have you tracked? If you pointed at someone, George, and said, "Come, go and bite that person," would he do it?
No.
Okay. Damn. I was just thinking it could be really useful if we went to say please.
But if a person exhibited some aggression to me, he would go after him.
But he would kill Quantum Eraser, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody grabbed me or if someone stood in front of me and started raising their voice and yelling at me, he'll get in between me and them.
Let me explain this for you, Crayon Muncher.
Oh, yeah.
This is my for the.
If Quantum Eraser is nearby speaking like that, he probably would, within 5 minutes, have no arms and legs.
Just in case people don't know, George's dog Calm. I've seen videos of him running at 30 miles an hour as though he's just trotting. That guy,
your dog is very well trained, I presume.
Yeah.
Or is it I assume?
No, he's very well behaved. He's very gentle and very well behaved. You just don't show any aggression towards me, and he'll be just fine.
I have some neighbors that own a German Shepherd, and the kids will come over and get on top of him, ride him like a horse, smack him, pull his hair, and he would not do anything. Now, as soon as a horse or a farmer with a bag in his back would walk around, or a drunk guy, he would go all out of shape. He would just start barking and try to bite. But the rest of the time, he would be just calm.
Well, he's protecting the kids.
Problem.
I mean, that's what they do. He's a one-person dog, and he's very sensitive around children. You don't show any aggression towards children, otherwise he will go after you. That is kind of a characteristic of the breed. They're very protective of their humans.
Yeah,
if I get a dog, it would be one of those.
Did I hear you just a moment ago, Carlos, about 2 minutes ago, try and differentiate between assume and presume? Did you just make that difference?
Yes.
I thought you did.
It's-
Okay, well done, well done. Okay, just I thought you did. I just checking.
Yeah, because I hear people like, "Hey, you're here for the interview, I presume." I was like, "Isn't it? I assume if you presume."
No, presume means that it's something that's very probable. So it isn't. You're entitled to that. So that means I presume I don't know, the sun is coming up tomorrow. I presume because you think that's a very likely event. To assume
Dr.
something.
Livingston, I presume.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. You think it's a probable thing that's going to happen. Whereas you say when you assume something, that means I'm going to take this as an accepted thing.
I think the reason why I make the what's it called? I have a hard time is because in Spanish the word assume is asumir, right? Now in Spanish there's a word also as presumir or presumido, which means somebody who's to be presumido is somebody who's what do you call it, like a stuck up, you know?
Yes,
so,
it could be presumptuous. Yeah, you can be presumptuous.
Yeah, there you go.
Means,
so
for instance,
I'm thinking. Exactly, I'm thinking of that when I hear presume. So that's what I was asking.
Yeah, presumptuous. So, for instance, you could say, "I feel I can, I don't know, walk into a room and I'm presumptuous means I can interrupt a conversation without, I presume. Yes, you're presumptuous when you presume that you've got more entitlement than you have. When you feel entitled to do something you really ought not to be.
We're going full circle, man.
So yeah. Yeah, so basically you're already better than Riley because he doesn't know how to use the definite and indefinite article when he's talking about the scientific method. You'll see him do it all the time. He keeps on saying scientific method without using the ver or a, and it's a very peculiar. It's almost like an Eastern European thing that the people do that. But I don't know where he's picked it up in English. I don't think Liverpudlians do that. And he only does it for scientific method. It's almost as though he doesn't realise scientific method is a
Did you just say Liverpudlians? What's Liverpudlians got to do with it?
Well, I don't know. That's where he comes from. So
no, he's not a Scouser. Jesus.
He is.
No, he's not.
He is. He goes on about it.
Well,
he doesn't sound particularly Scousy, but he is.
I'm gonna go back.
He goes on and on about this, Dean. He goes on and on about this. How can you not know this?
I'm not a fan of his.
Well,
I don't bloody watch his show, so I don't know.
Okay, you're forgiven. Okay, well, good point.
What is this word? He's sounding what?
He's a Liverpudlian, which means he comes from Liverpool, or Scouser. I don't fully understand what Scouser means, but it means something to do around Liverpool where they have a particular accent or idioms, and it means it's a particular accent, stroke, idiomatic usage.
Well, I'll tell you the one that really gets my craw, and I'm just about ready to get a plane ticket to go strangle the SOB, is Arwen and this disequilibrium. Now, Riley is adopting it, and Jesus, I presume that he probably did this to sound intellectual.
Very good, George.
Wait a minute. I'm posting a link for you in the side chat, Carlos. You need to bookmark this. It's a channel called English Like a Native, and this one is about the Scouser or Liverpudlian accent.
Okay.
You need I'll send in the side chat. I'll actually post it to Skype as well. Now, Carlos, your challenge is to try and replicate a Liverpudlian Scouser accent.
Oh, don't do that. don't make him do that. What a horrible thing to make someone do. Deary me.
What, practice an accent, really?
Yes, thing. I do. Well, personally, I hate accent. You may have gathered that. I think they're...
Yes, I did gather that.
Yes, I think received pronunciation is the way to go, and I hate all the regional variations. I think they sound ugly, usually.
A while back, I got to know this English citizen, this lady. And oh my God, was she good at various UK accents. I didn't realize that there were so many different dialects and stuff. The one that would crack me up, she would do this thing called Cockney.
Oh my God.
It was just hilarious.
I have a hard time figuring out anything from up there. I can never get the Australian and UK figure out sometimes. My wife is pretty good at that. I'm still learning those, but I know that Irish talk like that. Irish. So that's the only one that's like, okay, that's Irish.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's actually symptomatic of old world, because we've been around for thousands of years speaking these bloody things, or at least 1,000 years just about in English. We have quite a variety of these things that have got great histories. And in fact, Geostrebe was telling me that in Germany, they actually have difficulty. I thought we were one of the most diverse, had one of the most diverse languages in a country, but no, in Germany apparently it's so bad they actually changed the grammar, and the written language is the same, but they actually reversed the position of the verbs or something. And in fact, his German in around Nuremberg, they don't have a past perfect tense. So, for instance, they don't say "I have eaten" or something. They say they don't have a perfect past tense. They only have a continuous past tense verbally. The written language are fine, and it means they actually have difficulty. So something like a person from Nuremberg, like Geostrebe, speaking to someone from up north, I think it was up north, or certainly in Eastern Germany, he has great difficulty. He has more difficulty understanding them than he does me, which is quite extraordinary. So there's actually more dialect and grammar variation in Germany than there is here. So I didn't realise that, but he said I didn't have a clue.
There was a really bad occurrence, Rumpus. When do you remember Robot Wars on
Yes.
TV?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I tell you that I did all the graphics for Robot Wars on series 1 and 2?
You didn't.
I didn't. Well, I did, and I was the only artist on it, and it was one of my first TV jobs ever.
Oh,
now,
Dean, that's fantastic.
wait a minute. Listen to this.
You deserve a handshake for that.
No,
well done, that man. Well done, Dean.
This is not
Extra
fantastic.
cred for you.
Wait a minute. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is not fantastic. I also had to do the localization for European countries, and I forget which one it was. But there was in Robot Wars, you have the battle board, yeah?
Yeah.
Except the translation of this in whatever fucking country it was, I forget now. The actual translation was the board on which the battle occurs. And that would be the only way to actually say battle board, except I've designed this UI to say the word battle board, and now I have to fit this damn sentence on it.
Yeah,
it's like ridiculous.
That's the trouble with German. These ridiculously long words. Like
it wasn't German. It wasn't German. It was somewhere else. I can't remember.
But they're very much like that. That's where their words are so bloody long. I keep on telling Geostrebe off for this. So something like bus stop. The German equivalent of that is the thing that a bus is moving along come to a halt at. So it's some ridiculously long word, and it's just so, and it's very literal. They don't seem to believe, and they don't seem to invent more vocabulary, whereas we've got a vast vocabulary in English, so we can be quite short.
The same could be said about English when it comes to Spanish, because for a verb that has, depending on the tense and person, his first, second, or third, it'll be just one word. Like they ran, it's like corrieron. That's it.
Right.
One word. So
that's Latin. Latin's like that, isn't it?
Latin, yeah.
Well, yeah. There's two main dialects of Spanish, isn't there? There's European Spanish and Latin Spanish.
Yes. Yeah. So you have the Castilian. You have the Castilian Spanish, which sounds like somebody with a lisp. And then you have the Spanish from Latin America, which would be Central, South America, and of course little islands like Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Dominican Republic. So yeah, those also. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say here. No, carry on, Carlos, because I was going to deflect then to something else.
Yeah, no, that's so. Yeah, the Spanish that you would speak in Latin America is basically from the Spaniards that they came over, and it got all discombobulated with the natives, and so that's what we ended up with the Spanish. And so basically, the Castilian is the proper Spanish, even though it sounds silly to us, just like North American English sounds kind of silly to you guys.
It does a bit.
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
go here, guys, but I thought Rumpus and Dean might find this interesting.
Bloody hell, Colin! Jesus Christ, Colin! Bloody hell!
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
But anyway, I needed to find the volume of a pyramid, and the equation for the volume of a pyramid is really quite simple if you have the height of the pyramid, the drop distance from the apex down to the base.
Yeah.
It's just the width of the base times the length of the base times the height, all divided by 3.
Yeah.
But suppose, see, I didn't have a height, so what I have access to are the dimensions of the base and the length of a side going up the pyramid, to the apex.
When you say pyramid, is this a square pyramid or a tetrahedron?
Pardon?
Is this a square pyramid or?
It's described as square so far.
Okay, square, right? Because obviously, yeah.
Well, not square, rectangular base, a general rectangular base.
Okay, normally a pyramid is regarded as square pyramid as opposed to a tetrahedron. Yeah, normally pyramids are square pyramids. Okay, well, yeah, I suppose it wouldn't make any difference.
But anyway, long story short, is it turns out if you don't have the height, if you're trying to measure along the length of one of the side edges from the base up to the, apex, and you have the dimensions of the base, it ends up actually being kind of a messy expression.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. You amaze me.
Oh.
Oh, coloured. So Carla just came in to say, haha, and then went away again. Saying, you might as well have said peekaboo, something, Carla, and then went away again.
I'm going to derail this now. The English accent, the English dialect, though, Rumpus. Do you know there is only one, going back in history, there's only one tribe that remained unaltered that was native to this land in terms of its integration with Eastern European influences, including like Vikings, Germanic, and all that kind of stuff.
You're going to tell me what? You're going to tell
Celts,
me?
yeah, you were right. Celts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's not English. That's not an English dialect. That's another language.
Well, yeah, but all the others, we don't have one anymore. So native to this land, you can only say that the Welsh language is the only one remaining native to this land that is original and untouched. The rest are,
yes,
mixed with everything else. Which,
yes, I think that's probably correct. There must. I suspect it's evolved in some regards. But yes, it is a more ancient language than English, because English evolved quite a lot. There was Old English, and then we had quite a lot of Viking stuff was in there. Then we came and then there was Old English. Then we had the Norman English bits coming in, and then medieval English. And it's only until oh God, who did the Canterbury Tales? Oh Jesus.
No, I don't think it was Jesus. That's after his.
Canterbury Tales. Chaucer. So Chaucer basically defined sort of early English, and even then that was a bit sort of hard work. That's about 1350, 1400 is when we really sort of collected together, and even then the spelling went all a bit wacky. But that was when we would have difficulty understanding someone from that period of Old English.
I'll catch you guys later. I would have thought the untouched natives that you have there would have been the Hooter girls.
Would be the what?
The Hooter girls.
Hooter girls? Who are they? Never heard of them.
You don't have a Hooters there then, huh?
No, we don't know what that is.
Oh.
It's a restaurant. Let's see. How would you describe Hooters, George?
Yeah, George, you're going to be in a shock when you come over here. We don't have all that American superficial plastic bollocks. We have 1,000-year history worth of stuff.
Basically, a restaurant with girls with very short shorts and very big breasticles and a lot of cleavage, but really bad food.
I must admit, it's starting to appeal to me now, actually. I think about it.
Really bad food appeals to you, really? Why?
The first part of it, I was just thinking the net pros and cons are there, and I was thinking, actually, it's got some positives. No, we don't have anything like that. No, we're quite restrained. That's the thing about this country. Our weather's restrained, our manners are restrained, our politics is restrained, our geography is restrained. Everything about it is middle of the road. Except when we get angry.
And my town. Go ahead.
Karen, you stop.
I said we had a Hooters here in my town, but some of the waitresses were making increment a different way. after the clock, and
You're breaking up, Carlos. We can barely hear you.
No, but I can actually interpret and fill in gaps from that breakup. So what he was actually saying was they had a Hooters over there, but I think it got closed down because some of the waitresses were actually supplementing their income with extracurricular kind of extra, yeah, extra activities and stuff.
Evening activities, right?
Shut it down. Bunch of Hooters.
Yeah, I'm actually very good at filling in conversations and missing words, even on, you know, if someone's speaking and there's breakup, or if someone's speaking in broken English, because my grandfather was from Poland and he never really learned any, you know, he would use very broken English to speak. So ever since I was young, I had to interpret what he was saying and then fill in the gaps. But it got me very good at being able to fill in these gaps.
Broken English.
Hmm?
Your microphone, Carlos. You're breaking up. We can't hear you. We're only getting I think even Dean can't fix what you're saying.
No, I need one solid word to work with, Carlos. Come on, just one.
Yeah. We only got one word, or even half a word.
Climb higher up your pole to get a better Carlos.
Yeah, link into
that.
I
think he's driving, so take it easy on him.
Yeah, I think
I'm trying to make some money, George. That's why I'm off the pole, so my wife doesn't have
to. Carlos, the curve is blocking your signal. You need to get higher.
Or the speed.
Yeah. I climb
slow
up the pole, so
down.
my wife doesn't have
Relativity
to.
is screwing up your signal.
Well, don't get
Doppler shift, right?
Oh, wait a minute. I've got a question for either.
Well, what about all the satellites?
No, this is speaking of relativity. This is for either Rumpus or George. So the.
Oh, not me. Okay.
Carlos, you can have a go as well, and you can explain this to me. So when I hear people talking about the speed limit of light, or that is our theoretical speed limit, or is our speed limit, because
for everything,
because of the direct relationship in space time. But well, if the way that I've had the way that I've got an understanding of it at the moment is, if you're stood still and not moving, you are experiencing you're always going as fast as you can be going. There's no exception. All you can do is influence towards either space or time.
That's correct, actually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm pretty good here. But here's the thing that I don't know is, let's say I am traveling at a velocity now, and I'm covering distance. Therefore, time is slowing down for me, and I'm getting near the speed of light. But that speed, what is that relative to?
Well, that's it. That's the problem.
No, but
right now we are traveling near the speed of light relative to something in the universe. That's the whole crux of the thing. There's no absolute velocity. Everything's relative to one another. Objects in the distant universe that are moving close to the speed of light.
Okay, let me ask it in a more layman's way then. Let me ask it in a more layman's way. I can run at almost the speed of light on the Earth.
You can sit in your couch at the speed of light.
Yeah. But the point there is that speed of light, the reference frame is the Earth. Now, if the Earth is already traveling at 65,000 miles an hour.
Well, relative to the sun, and then the sun is also traveling relative to some other
so let's say now I have no reference frame. How are those all the speed of light?
There's no such thing as absolute speed, absolute velocity. You have no idea without some other reference frame whether or not you're moving.
Well, this comes back to the Einstein problem. Imagine you're traveling along a light beam, and then you decide to run faster. Solving that problem is actually what led Einstein to generate the special theory of relativity. And then you get the
worse question.
And you get the Lorentz factor in there, which basically sorts it out for. But yes, that's a very good question, Dean. And you need to look up.
The thing, Rumpus, is in that reference frame that you are running you do have a velocity. You don't stop in your reference frame, or you don't slow down in your reference frame. It's just relative to somebody else peering in at your reference frame, watching you run, you know, on this light beam. But as far as you are on the light beam, you're running.
I must admit, I can't give you a direct answer, Dean, that makes sense exactly, but that's basically the problem. If you are running along a light beam, going at the speed of light, and then you decide to run a bit fast, or something like that, and it gives you the Lorentz factor, which is this square root of 1 minus v squared over c squared, pops out as a result of that, and it means that it all compresses in effect. So
the difference between the reference frame of the light beam's reference frame and the bit that I've got remaining is going to be my interpretation of light of 0 to light speed.
Yeah, the thing is the whole problem comes in what we call simultaneity. In trying to view simultaneous events. Let's say you're in a rocket ship, and I'm here on Earth, and I'm watching you in your rocket ship, and your rocket ship is at, say, 0.99 the percent, 0.99 the velocity of light, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Me watching you go by. Now, let's say you're in your rocket ship and you all of a sudden turn on a flashlight. That beam of light, with respect to you, is going out at the speed of light, at c. Whereas from my perspective, you know, it's not going to c or twice the speed of light, because I see your spaceship going by at the speed of light, and you're shining this light beam, which relative to you is going out at the speed of light. It doesn't double from your perspective.
But does that mean that you're experiencing a relative time of me that is slow? Therefore,
not me in the spaceship. Nothing happens to me physically. It's just your perception of how you're viewing me. Nothing happens to my matter. Like in length contraction, I don't contract materially in my frame of reference, only in your frame of reference is how you're viewing me. Do I get squished in the direction of the speed of light? But nothing is happening to my molecules in my frame. I don't physically change shape.
Yeah, well, it's your fault that I'm asking this, George, because I looked at what's that channel that you put me onto? I forget what it is now. Fermi, whatever, summit. YouTube channel.
Fermi Labs?
Yeah, Fermi Labs. And I watched something about the theoretical speed of light, but it gave me no reference frame, and it didn't even explain it. So I'm left thinking, okay, so what's that relative to? So yeah, it just made me ask more questions, which was a bit annoying.
Yeah, I was going to do one on that, but Jose kind of canceled it, didn't let me talk about it. I was going to talk about special relativity a little bit, particularly on time dilation, because it is very confusing to people, the whole twin paradox thing, but it's very easily resolvable.
I'm trying to find a video that would talk about this simultaneity. Oh, bloody hell!
Simultaneity
thing that George just mentioned, and it's very enlightening. And it's a PBS thing, and I wish I could give you, if I was up on this, Dean. I don't feel we're answering you very well here, and I'm brushing up on it at the moment because I'm trying to prepare myself for this George Musa thing with general relativity, is also special relativity. I've just got myself a book on the damn thing, so I don't think we're answering you very well.
A quick thing to think about, Dean, that this is what's happening. Is suppose you and I are both carrying physical clocks, mechanical clocks.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting on the Earth with your mechanical clock, and every time, let's say, the hand hits a second, a flash of light goes off. Okay, you've got a light bulb that's synchronized to your clock, so that every time the second hand hits a second, the flash of light goes off. And the same thing with me in the spaceship. The same thing is happening. We have these mechanical clocks that are keeping track of time. Now, I'm traveling, say, at 9/10 the speed of light. Pretty damn close to the speed of light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Can I speculate here? If I was able to see your clock flashing, it would be going incredibly slow compared to mine.
That's correct. And the reason for that is, let's say the second hand's at 12, flash of light goes off. That light has a finite time to travel from my spaceship to you. And that's the crux of the problem, is now I'm traveling. Now in the next second, I have gone a considerable distance. So I've increased the distance between you and me to the next second. So when my light flash goes off, I see it just being a second, but it now takes a longer time for that light beam at 2 seconds to reach you than it did for the first one. So there's a much longer delay from your perspective between the first second and the second second, because the spaceship has advanced so far, you know, along its path, because it's traveling pretty damn close to the speed of light. So from your perspective, my intervals between the seconds are getting longer and longer as I recede further and further from you. But in my spaceship, nothing's happened. My clock runs just like your clock. Now, if we happen to be some, you know, god that isn't constrained by the speed of light, he would see your clock ticking and my clock ticking at exactly the same rates. My time really does not slow down from my perspective. It just from your perspective.
I think we need to do a better job on this, George, to
well, it's tough without diagrams and
it
stuff.
is,
Well,
yeah.
well, what I was going to say, George, is what you're needing for this is really nice graphics and animations to kind of explain this very well, to conceptualize in a layperson's mind.
I agree. It needs diagrams, and then if you did it in a hangout, of course, and people say, "Hold on, I don't understand that bit," and then you can stop and then talk about simultaneous.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
See, and where the crux of the problem is
Try again, Rumpus.
for people being is the fact that there's no preferred reference frame. So as you see me with my clock slowing down, you can reverse the problem, and your intervals of light between the seconds seem to be growing longer and longer. So I see you also as slowing down. We each see each other as slowing down. Where in actuality, we really aren't. It's just because of the finite velocity of speed of light. The only way we receive information is through light or electromagnetic waves that gives us that information. And the fact that they have finite velocities is what screws up this whole thing of simultaneity.
Yeah, and the way that light works is it's exciting the energies or in the particulates that are the million billion gallons of water in the atmosphere, right? That's right?
He's teasing you, George.
I'll do it. I'll give you Pete's theory, George. I'm just.
Sounds like.
Well, Pete is so fucking nuts.
I've got a great video for you somewhere. Ah, here we go.
Hey.
Jesus Christ, that was. Here we go. Here's a video you need to. I'll put it in the.
Hold on.
Is that bloody Carlos? Don't tease me again.
Get your red shirt on, Carlos.
The bottom line is, Dean, is if light traveled instantaneously, there would be none of these paradoxes. There would be no time dilation, length contraction, or anything like that.
Right. That will deal with some of it. Some of the consequences there. That video, which is quite good. Right.
Why is it using a woman that's quite obviously a porn star, a porn star avatar next to a train?
It does.
Rumpus, what is this shit that you've just sent me?
I can't think why. I can't think why this made an impression on me. She has got a particularly short skirt, hasn't she?
Yeah.
I'll put that. I don't know if anybody is there anybody actually watching this, watching us? Like, is possibly putting in the.
Shall I present you?
She's also rather well endowed in her.
She is.
I'm saying this woman that is being used to demonstrate a very complex scientific theory is quite obviously a stripper, and I don't get why they've chosen this woman to do this.
Maybe she just works for Hooters.
It's like
We've got the word Hooters. That's the only thing we heard then, Carlos, was Hooters.
Yeah.
We get your drift.
Maybe she works at Hooters.
Look at minute 5:21.
Have you searched through for the porn bits?
Oh, Carlos, we can't hear you.
Potatoes and work.
Carlos is driving. There's double shift for his mobile phone.
I like her skirt, actually. It's rather flowery, and she looks a bit stunned by this train going past her at 5:21. Definitely.
Well, I've just taken loads more Coca-Cola, so I'm going to watch this later.
I'm sure when you're looking at her, your eyes are really focused on her skirt, Rumpus.
Well, it's quite a girly skirt. I like sort of subdued little girly skirts.
Prints. Nice print skirts, like pastels and prints.
Research effort.
But yeah, that's an interesting video that's illuminating in many regards. God, anyway. Yes, so that. Yes, yeah. We're not doing you a good turn, don't think, Dean. The question you fundamentally asked, I don't think we've actually answered it quite very well, and I think we'd have to go away and think about it to present it in a digestible manner, and I'd also have to get myself clued up. But it's all about trying to. You're basically asking, why don't the velocities of things add together? Is really the basic question you're asking. If you're going on the speed of light and you're then running ahead of that, then what does the velocities add? And they don't. They add using the Lorentz factor. That's what it fundamentally comes down to. But I can't quite give you the full.
Yeah, so you get an infinite contraction between you and the actual limit. But yeah.
So for instance, in the CERN experiment, the actual when they reach near the speed of light, the protons they're flinging around them, they actually compress horizontally in the direction of velocity. They actually become thinner due to the length contraction, in effect. So lots of weird, so lots of the weird things in effect happen. And so the other thing you mustn't get confused with. You don't obviously perceive time changing when you're moving along. Everything's happening to you normally. What you perceive is a length contraction. Bloody hell, Carlos. We perceive a length contraction in the things you're looking at. But when things are looking at you, they perceive your time. Your time for you is changing. You're moving more slowly, but the distances are preserved. It could. God, you could make millions of videos on this. But this video here anyway, and then generates this problem of simultaneity. I'm going to give up trying to say that word. And it shows the dilemmas here about that lack of simultaneous.
But the thing is, though, is in your frame of reference, objects do not physically contract.
Yes, that's. No, they don't. It's your perception of them, yes. But if you were to go at the speed of light, you would see everything compressed in the direction you were traveling. Everything would come together.
They're not actually compressed.
No, they don't change. But obviously, you changing your speed is not changing the physical properties of the things you're going by. But if you were to get out a ruler. If you were to get out a ruler, it would look a lot shorter.
Well, I mean, the obvious answer to that in the demonstration is all you have to do is have two different travelers traveling at two different speeds looking at the same thing. Obviously, things cannot contract in two different ways for each viewer.
Yes.
Physically.
And so if you were holding a ruler, you would see that as far as you'd look at it and think, oh, my ruler's got very much shorter. And also everything else you're looking at, all the spaces, but if you're looking at across a field or something, or sit in the distance, it would then be much, much closer to you than it really ought to be, than you would think it should be.
Yeah, but if you're sitting in your spaceship traveling very near the speed of light, holding the ruler doesn't look any different. It hasn't changed shape at all or contracted.
That's true. Yes. The ruler. Yes, you're absolutely right, George. The ruler you're holding. The ruler you're holding doesn't change. Hold on, I've got confused now. So that means that that can't be right. No, that can't be right because your ruler, if your ruler hasn't changed, I'm getting the game. But that means your rule, you would see.
Wait a minute. I now take this question back. I'll deal with it. A, when you both had time to think about it, and B, when I've taken less painkillers.
Yeah, you're suffering there, Dino.
No, the thing is, if we have three people, A, B, and C, I'm holding my ruler, B's holding his ruler, C's holding his ruler. So in all of our frames, each of us don't see the ruler changing shape at all.
Hold on, George. If my rulers, if I'm holding a ruler and then I'm going along the speed of light and then I
and the ruler's traveling with you,
yes,
at the same speed,
right? So then, but then the things I've got in front of me have all compressed as I perceive it, but my ruler hasn't. So that means
the further away they get from you, yes,
but
because of the speed of light taking a finite time to reach.
But hold on, George. Let me finish my scenario. I've got this. So I've got my. Let's suppose I've got a mile-long ruler on with me, and I'm traveling along with me at the speed of light, and then I'm going along on, and I'm looking at something that's a mile away on the ground in the distance. It would be much nearer to me than it, due to the Lorentz contraction. It would actually appear to be much nearer to me.
No, it's not physically changing shape. It just seems like it is because it takes light a finite time at the 1 mile. It will
look as though it's much closer to me.
Yes.
Right. But my ruler, you're saying, but my ruler that I've got with me doesn't. So that means the two wouldn't match.
No, wait.
No, it's because of the fact that at the end of the ruler, a mile away, that light to reach you to ascertain, to perceive that ruler takes a finite time. That's what gives it that perception that is the ruler is contracted. But
you're saying the ruler the ruler wouldn't contract, wouldn't look as though it's contracted.
Not physically.
No. Hold on. Does the ruler
your
look?
Perception of it makes
okay. So are you saying that you perceive the ruler you're holding does look as though it's contracted or not?
Hello.
So
yes, I just want to say something that when you are looking at something ahead of you, the contraction for the things that pass by you, when you look to the side, things seem to be shorter, but when you're looking ahead of you, things don't change in dimension.
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
when you look to the side, when you're at right angles to your velocity, the world looks the same.
Yes, you got that around the wrong way.
Oh, it's all reversed.
Yeah, the things ahead of you look much closer than they should be, and the things to the side have not changed because your relative velocity to them is zero.
No, things to the right side of me, my relative speed to them is the speed of light, or almost the speed of light. I'm passing by them by the speed of light.
I say we shelf this for another day, and I wish I'd never asked it now because I actually do want to know this, but I have taken. Wait a minute, what is this?
The purpose.
500 milligram tablets of cocodamol.
Yes, it's fine, Dean. We're trying to have a discussion here. The normal component. The normal component does not change.
Yeah, I don't see how that can
be. Only the lateral components that are in your direction of velocity that change. So, yeah, as you're passing an object, of course, as you get past that object, now there's a lateral component, or a lateral component that changes.
Yeah, you're not right, Khaled. When the light, admittedly, the light to have reached you must have left it a long time ahead of you. But nonetheless, when you see it, the velocity will have relative to you will be just as normal.
I got it confused. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Right. So the problem I'm having with is if I'm holding a mile-long ruler and I'm trying to measure something outside my spaceship, I'd want to prod something that's a mile away. Now, if we say that the ruler's traveling with you and therefore does not change its perceived length, but the thing outside does, then you've got a mismatch between these two rulers, and I'm not sure that's allowed. Or that might be a simultaneous.
Oh, you're misconstruing what I said.
Well, no, I'm saying it. I'm making the statement, not you. I'm trying to work out whether or not that ruler would be the same. Whether at my tip of my ruler I perceive that as being on the thing that's a mile away, and therefore I'm getting a discrepancy between the two distances, but I'm not sure can be correct. In other words, can I use my ruler that I'm traveling with to measure things? Perhaps I can't. The routes.
You can, but you have to make adjustments, because by the time you receive the light from the two ends of the ruler, this is the problem with simultaneity. You've got your ruler, you have this light that's coming from both ends that you use for perceiving the length measurement, that the light, the end that's closest to you is received by your eye before the light is received from the far end, and you're traveling, if you're traveling towards that far end, that changes the whole concept of simultaneity.
Right, but hold on, George. Are you saying that we're saying, are we not, that the ruler you've got with you that's a mile long, that I've got holding, that still looks a mile long, does it not? Even if I'm traveling at speed of light?
Not necessarily looks a mile long. It is a mile long, but the fact that you are traveling near the speed of light, and for you to receive that piece of information at the mile point is not the same as the 0 point. And it takes light a finite time to reach you for you to get that information as to where that end is.
Yeah. Okay, so are you not saying that if I'm holding a mile-long ruler with me that's traveling along with me at the speed of light, does it still look a mile ahead of me?
No.
Oh, right. Okay, so right. Okay, that's what. Right, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't look, but it actually is.
Yeah. We know that bit. We know we're not actually changing these things. You keep on saying that. We have absorbed that fact. Right. So we were saying before that things traveling in your reference frame would not be changed, but now you're saying it would be. So
no,
we
your
would
perception of it. It actually hasn't.
Yeah, I know, George. We know that bit. Oh my God! If you say that again, I'm going to set the dog.
Well,
on
I don't know. You're not being clear.
I am. I keep on saying we're not changing the physical size of things. Right, but if I have a mile-long ruler that's traveling along with me, do I perceive it as still being a mile long, even as I reach the speed of light? Right. So. Even though it's in my reference,
in your frame, it is still
right. So, you keep on changing what you're saying. Oh my God! See, you just contradicted yourself. Jesus Christ! Oh, I'm gonna have to go and watch some politics program before I explode.
Well, the difference is that the ruler is traveling everywhere along its length. Every particle on that ruler is traveling at your speed.
Yes, that's why I was saying was inconsistent what you were saying, and you've now switched about 3 times on this. Oh, but okay, but I agree. We haven't quite. I need to go and think about this hard and do some equation. I've got to get my special relativity book out again.
Yeah,
this is driving me a bit nuts.
Everywhere along that ruler, there's no relative velocity.
Correct.
Between you and the ruler.
Yes, that's why I was saying that's why I kept on. But there is, with the mile-long thing you're looking at, the city of a mile in distance. We're saying that must.
Well, that's different. It's not traveling with you.
I know. And that's why I was saying that your ruler doesn't contract, and the city you do look at looks as though it's in a different position. Your ruler of a mile away, and the city will not agree.
Yes. Okay, we're on the same page there. Yeah.
Great. So hold on, I'm not quite sure. So now are you saying that the ruler would look as though it's reaching out to the city that's a mile away, or are you saying it wouldn't agree that the city that's a mile away is a mile away? Or we're gonna have to think about this.
Yeah, and I'd like to show you more explanation for my 3D paint.
No, your ruler will not agree. It will measure the city's ruler shorter.
Right, that's what I was worrying. So therefore, and I was worrying if that was a problem, because that would mean we've got a ruler that's got a mile on it, and the thing we're looking at is a different distance away, and our ruler wouldn't agree with it, with what the absolute measurements, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So that's what's worrying me, and I'm now all confused.
But both of them are still physically a mile.
Yes, George. Oh God, you've said it. Right, that's it. I'm going now. You said it again for the 20th time, despite having been warned about not saying it again. Oh Jesus. It's your perception. Yes, it's all about
you're not connecting.
Rumpus, you appeal to Jesus quite a lot. Do you know that?
Well, perhaps I'm just
a very religious man.
Yes,
Episcopalian.
No, I'm not. I'm not religious at all. I'm an atheist, but somehow I'm scratching around for saying something that's not brutally offensive, and I don't know what I want. It's the scale. When I'm attacking Jesus, I think you can admit I'm getting the scale of my frustration is reaching supernatural levels.
No, all I'm trying to say, Rumpus, is you have these two physical rulers. One's at the city, one's you're traveling.
No, we've got one ruler and a distance to the city. That's what we got. We got one ruler and a distance to the city we know is a mile away, and we got
okay, that's different.
And a ruler that's a mile long. And I want to say if I perceive the end of my mile long ruler to be in the same place as the city that I know that's a mile away.
No.
Right, which means I'm not. I don't know whether that's a simultaneity thingammy problem, simultaneous type problem, or something else.
The ruler is going to be a lot shorter than the perception
longer.
of where the city
is. If that doesn't change length, but the distance between you and the city is perceived as changed length, then the ruler would stick out further. I think I'm now actually confused about everything now that I.
That's basically right. Yeah.
So we need to come back to you, Dean, with
all I was trying to get is where a lot of people get mixed up is the fact that things physically do not change.
You've said it again, haven't you? You write that bit. I'm going off to watch a political program now.
You perceive it, but physically. Well, think of it this way.
He's going to say it again, isn't he? He's going to say it again.
Okay, go away with this thought, Rumpus.
Oh, God. If you say it again, I'm just going to go away.
No, I'm going to give you a different thought. What I've been trying to tell you, but you and Dean keep interrupting me, is the thing is if you have, say, 3 people, one is on the Earth, let's say.
You're doing twin paradox, aren't you?
You have 2 and 2 different rocket ships traveling at different velocities. One is at 0.8 C relative to the Earth. The other is at 0.9 C relative to the Earth. Okay? Now, from the person on the Earth, he's going to see a different length. He's going to measure a different time of the person on spaceship A. And he's going to measure a different time and a different length of the person in spaceship B, right? Because they're at different velocities. One's at 0.9 C, one's at 0.8 C.
From the Earth? No.
From the Earth's perspective.
I'm not sure that's right. From the Earth.
Well, of course, time dilation depends on your velocity.
But your time hasn't changed. You'll just perceive them as moving more slowly. You won't know what. You'll just see them if you could see a clock that was on there.
But they're moving slowly at different rates from your perspective.
Yeah, if you could see the clock. Yeah, if you could see a clock that was operating on the 2 spaceships, you would see one of them moving more slowly than the other one. Yes.
Okay. Now, each of those people, say A and B on their ships, are now looking at you on Earth.
Yes. And they would see us moving more slowly. Yes.
Your time is being different and your length is being different. And you know that can't happen.
They would see.
Because
if they could see my clock.
The guy that's in rocket ship A traveling at 0.9 C looking that you are looking at, he's looking at you and he sees it's a reciprocal thing. It's symmetry.
Yeah, indeed. And so if you can see your clock,
same thing with spaceship B.
Yes.
At 0.8 C, he sees you differently. So both A and B see you differently simultaneously.
Yes, they both see our clock moving at different speed on Earth. Yes.
So your time actually and your physical being is not really changing. It's only how they perceive.
Oh my God, he said it again. Right. Right, that is it. I'm now missing
how can your length, how can your ruler on Earth both be 2 different lengths at the same time as measured by the 2 different people in the spaceships? Can't.
I'm not saying it did.
Physically, you remain intact.
My God, that's it. Right, he's done it now. I've now missed my 2 political programs. I've now missed my 2 political programs. I've got them recording, so I'm going away and watch them. So sorry, Caleb, I can't hang around. It's time for bed anyway. I've got them 2 programs out. Right. So thanks, Caleb, for the invitation. So bye, Carlos. Bye, Dean. Everybody.
See you later.
Bye. Carlos. Dean?
Yeah. No, I'm still smiling because that was funny. George upsetting Rumpus by saying the same thing multiple times. It's just funny.
Now that the problem is he changed the ruler. It shrink. It doesn't shrink. Well, these things is confusing if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, and like I say, I asked the question because I was interested, but I asked the question about 10 minutes after taking cocodamol because I've got a bad tooth at the moment. So now I'm at a state where it doesn't matter what the answer is. I don't care anymore. I'll ask for the answer. Stop. Yeah, I'll ask for the answer again when I'm not tripping balls. But I just found it funny. Sometimes George and Rumpus interacting is just really funny. I like it.
I was showing Rumpus the reason for the NLM, and I wanted to show him because the first time I showed him, I was a little bit confused, like like George did to him, back and forth. But when I prepared, then relativity came in and stopped everything.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was probably my fault. You mentioned relativity, and I thought, oh shit, yeah, I watched a video on that, and I want to know what the reference frames are to this. And it's hard conceptualizing the kind of Lorentz contraction and the paradoxes that form because of it. So I just wanted to see if they had a better explanation for it. Well, and instead, I got a 3D graphic animation of a porn star stood next to a train.
No, well, I'm gonna tell you my story. Since I was like 8 years old, I knew about Einstein say that time travel or time, like the twin paradox. You know this issue. So I knew about the time dilation, something like that. And then for the next 35 years after that, I've never researched in relativity. I didn't study much in school. I can't remember if I did at all.
Perspective.
But
yeah, but look, if you carry those lights on that go to the ground and they disappear, Carlos, that's what perspective is.
Okay, Barry.
Look, and the doors, if the doors went along, they'd start disappearing from the bottom up, obviously.
Hang on. There you
go. Nice.
So what I was saying, that for 35 years, I believed in relativity. But then when I wanted to know more about it, because I want to know more, it's exciting. So I started looking into scientific sites and YouTube. And the result was that I started not to believe in relativity.
No, really?
Because first, people...
Hold that door for you.
people
trying to explain it. I'll mute Carlos. I think he's done.
No, yeah, no, wait a minute. I think he's going to try and steal a wallet. Run, ma'am, run. No, I'm only kidding.
Because when I go in physics forum,
that was actually. Wait a minute, Carlos. That was very nice of you. You are a gentleman, sir.
I'm a gentleman and a scholar.
Except, does your wife know that you talk about Hooters this much?
That's a subject for another hangout.
I still don't. Why don't you relativity? You don't believe in, or you don't believe in it, Khaled?
Well, I'm not definite on this. I'm just telling you that the process that I went through. When I went to physics forums and started to ask people who give me different answers, like some say things physically shrink, and others say no, it doesn't.
Oh no, it never physically shrink. I get that.
Yeah. So this is one concept. People don't understand relativity, and they claim that they understand it, and they waste you. And then when I go to the paradox solving, it's very absurd to me. So
yeah, but the problem is, we can demonstrate space-time, or especially the bending of space-time, quite easily. So the issue is we know that these relationships exist. So now it's just a case of you know, conceptualizing what happens if, and it all kind of fits. It's just that I don't have a complete understanding of the reference frames when you're getting near the speed of light in comparison or relative to another reference frame, which is what I was asking George and Rumpus. Although I don't think they did the best job of explaining it. But all the other stuff, I don't. It's you know, it's either got very strong evidence for, or the theories hold up. All the calculations stand.
Well, I have two things to say about relativity. My final word is I was very skeptic for relativity, or at least for one aspect is of time dilation. Even when the clocks was mentioned to me, you know, the clock experiment.
Mm.
Until someone mentioned something that's called the muon. You know, you heard that word before?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, it's a particle that is produced at the upper edge of the atmosphere due to sun cosmic ray or something like that. And the lifetime of this particle when it's produced is like, say, 1 second. And it goes with a speed towards the Earth that it should take 5 seconds. But so it should have been decayed 4 seconds ago. But we actually receive it on Earth. So the time passed slower for that particle because it's going very fast, almost at the speed of light. So that was the thing that convinced me. Second thing regarding relativity, why I cannot say the relativity is wrong.
Yeah, but wait a minute. That's but on that previous example, that's why there is time dilation is taken into account with GPS satellite transmissions as well.
Yes, I knew that. I heard about this, but I said maybe the speed of light affecting the current in the electric circle, because nothing can go faster than the speed of light. So you know it should. I don't know. But the muons was the final thing that got me to believe it. And do you remember that table that I showed for 2 + 2 or 2?
Yeah, 2 times 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So the relativity says 2 by 2, and there's nothing else say anything else. So it's relativity. That's it. I cannot say anything. But I believe one day maybe some explanation comes.
Have you heard about E8?
I'm not sure.
E8, the letter E and 8.
Sounds familiar.
EA Sports to the game.
Yeah, E, but 8, the number 8.
No.
So it's trying to tie. So obviously, string theory compounds things together to tie shit on to general relativity to quantum mechanics. Except none of these make sense. You know how we say that time. Space-time is a gravity is a manifestation of space-time bending in 4D, but in our 3D it manifests as a force which we call gravity. Well, what about 5D, 6D, 7D, and 8D? But when you get to 8D, some of the maths that have now been theorized do actually form coherent behaviors between quantum and general and special relativity as well, I believe.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would like to see.
It's actually developed in Hawaii by a scientist in Hawaii as well, I think.
Yes, okay, I remember that man who left everything and just went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And maybe he's doing his research from there or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept, and I've seen a few. I think I've seen 2 documentaries on it actually, ages ago. But it did seem to make you know, if it is true, and if it stands up to peer review, it did actually make a lot of sense when they were presenting it in the documentary. But this is actually before I gave a shit about any of this stuff, so I didn't really take it in. I just knew that it existed, or that this theory existed.
I didn't spend much time digging in relativity because it requires a lot of study that I don't have time or the brain to absorb. So I'm not going to be like flat earthers and say no, relativity is wrong, and then jump to sites like the electric universe.
No. Oh, I've got some really bad news. Carlos, can you hear me? You know, I'm waiting for that Blackmagic camera.
Is it there?
I am now first in the queue, but I have been for a week, and they've been told they don't know when they're going to get any more in, because Blackmagic have started the production line for the Ursa Mini 2 that they have to fill orders for. So I'm sat being first in the fucking queue while they've swapped production lines at the Singapore factory, which is absolutely gutting to me. I wouldn't have minded if I was like 50th still, but I'm first in the queue. Just one more would have got me the damn camera. Jesus. Annoying.
You're too slow, man.
I know. If I'd have rung up like 2 days before and been one person sooner, I'd have had it now.
Since Carlos is here, then maybe he could be interested in the subject that we were talking about before you leave the last time. And I'm not sure you heard my last statements when I was in the 24/7 chat.
What statement?
No, okay. I was saying this to Dean in the previous Hangouts, but maybe he was gone. I was talking with a bunch of flat earthers, and came the issue of science and religion and atheism.
Yeah.
And I told them that this whole conflict between some people, science and religion, is caused by religious people. And for example, if you study in the Bible that the earth is flat, but then you go to school, you go to the Air Force, you go to space, and you see that it's a ball, you would throw the Bible, like the mind of God says.
But as far as I'm aware, the Bible doesn't say that the earth is flat.
Oh, well, if he was taught that the Bible says
but the daft thing is, in the Bible, I'm pretty sure there is a quote in there from somewhere, and I have never read the Bible, nor do I intend to, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that there's a quote in there that said, and they looked across the curve or arc of the land.
Well,
in one of the quotes. So
I am fully with you. I was just explaining to them why this is happening, because they hold to the teaching in the I mean, I don't know what to explain it, is insist that religious say specific things and you should follow it by the letter.
Right. Yeah, that's religion. That's not Christianity. That would be religion. An excellent example of religion. It's like if you don't wear if you wear skirts, let's say, over your knee, then you're going to hell because it's immodest.
Yeah.
Something like that. That would be religion. And yeah, I think as far as the shape of the earth and what it says in the Bible, my understanding is that that's what they believe, and that was their cosmology. And when God, might have shown some people on Bible, he showed it to them creation as they would understand it, and in the Bible it says that pi is 3, which we know it's not, and that's the problem, that people the Bible as a science book for accuracy. I was like, look, this is people who they're peeing and pooping outside a tent. I mean, come on.
No, but for me, Khaled, and Carlos, the Bible is irrelevant to science, and the Bible is irrelevant to the shape of the earth.
Yes, I agree with this.
And the merits of the Bible have to stand alone, independent to anything else. And unfortunately, I will always have the opinion that there is no good reason to believe anything in the Christian Bible is true. It is just hearsay and made up stories.
until you have a personal experience, you think differently, probably. But yes,
Right. So the thing here is, if I have define what you mean by if I have a personal experience. You mean that I could associate to something in the Bible? Because it's a damn big book, Carlos. I'm pretty sure I've had experiences that I could relate to bits of the Bible.
No. I'm talking about finding something that you can find relatable. I'm talking about like, for example, a supernatural experience.
Right. Okay.
Like
So wait a minute. Let's stop right there. So supernatural experiences.
Mhm.
So is there ever any proof of a supernatural experience? And the answer has to be no. There is. It's only within your experience. Now, given those circumstances, there's been people that say they have supernatural experiences, and none of them are coherent. None of them corroborate each other. Each have slight variances. They all tend to either go to their religious teachings or the ones that they are most familiar with, even when they're not religious. And then there's an equal amount of people that have a completely different view and no supernatural experience. Now, because none of them can be demonstrated, and because they have actually also been tested, and they work at the rate of chance, prayer works at the rate of chance, and they've tested out of body experiences, never been a thing. Never any proof. They do this in surgeries as well, and especially in the United States, they write a message above the where the surgery is taking place, pointed up to the ceiling, just in case anybody comes back and says, "Oh, I watched the operation. Great. Did you see the message that we wrote you?" And it's never been a fact. And they do this because obviously the United States is a lot more religious orientated than my country anyway. So there is no good reason. And I've nearly died 3 times. And one time I gave up. I actually thought to myself, hang about, I am this is too much pain and too much effort trying to live. I'm just gonna drift away and relax now, and it'll be fine. And I did not feel fear. I didn't feel confusion. I didn't see a fucking light. I didn't have flashbacks of my life or anything. I just thought, this is getting too fucking hard to try and breathe. I'm gonna just rest now and hope for the best, maybe. But I'm fine either way. Now, there is no evidence or good reason to believe that any deity exists or that we were created with intent. But there are opposing evidences that say all of that is bullshit. And people ask me to believe in a book with a rhetoric, with some horrible teachings, and
There's
I just
no
I can't.
evidence that there's no God.
Yes, and because you can't prove a negative, obviously.
So it's could be 50-50.
No, because there's evidence to prove that the Bible is made up bullshit.
That's an opinion.
Hold on, getting the door.
What is that?
I thought that's the doorbell. I thought you were killing a bird. Jesus.
No, it's the doorbell.
Wow.
Oh Lord. But yeah, Dean, that's why it comes down to faith, because it's really hard to convince somebody and so prove.
So faith,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, no, faith. The fallback to believing in something that you want to believe when there's no good reason to do so. And faith does not lead you to the truth. If you can take any position on faith that can be a true position or a false position, and you take it on faith, then it is not a good tool to get to the truth of a situation. And that's just the way that I am. Unfortunately, I would love to think that there is a God that loves me and doesn't endorse slavery or kill firstborn childs and things, but yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there is. I'm feeling very much alone right now. Everybody's on mute. Maybe I should go on mute.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, sorry. I was talking with a customer.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm doing an installation now. Look at look at this. It's fixing the rain. Look at this. See the wind is blowing. Overcast.
That looks like
Yeah,
a very different. That looks like a very different neighborhood to what you're normally in.
Yeah, you could say that. It's got very tall trees. It's a very, very wooded area of Auburn. Normally used to seeing rural stuff.
Have you experienced Fish Guy yet?
Oh, unfortunately.
How is he at defending the flat Earth?
It's annoying.
Is it?
It's because you know who it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut up, you know. So it's kind of funny at times, but it's annoying too.
Is it?
We had Tommy. Tommy was in one time, and Tommy was getting frustrated because he kept like Jose kept throwing all kinds of stuff. Like he said, "Oh, you're faking it. Oh, you're doing this. You're being dishonest." And Tommy said, "Jose, I'm getting annoyed. This is very stupid. You're an intelligent person." And he was like getting triggered. That was so funny.
What? Tommy didn't know that it was Jose.
He knew, but but Jose was being so persistent and so illogical that Tommy just couldn't take it. He's like, you need to stop.
No.
Even though he knew it was Jose and he knew it was a sham, it was getting to him. It was so funny, man.
Oh no.
So it can be funny at times, but it can also can get a little annoying since you know who's that real person behind it.
Because Tommy talks really quick anyway, and
right.
so he always seems quite short, direct, and abrupt.
Oh Lord! And then you have Jose with his second language and Tommy with his second language. Sounds like.
Nice.
I don't know. So it's it's just a mess.
Nice.
It's a mess. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you about faith and stuff.
Well. First of all, can we agree that faith?
I'm back.
Can we agree that faith is? Did you kill a bird, or is that seriously your doorbell?
No, that's my doorbell.
Right. It sounded like a horrible noise, like the noise that a sweet little sparrow would make if you put it in a microwave or something. It was horrific, that doorbell. You need to change it.
You know, dude.
I don't. I'm saying I'm imagining, and it's horrible.
You have a wide imagination.
I guess, or maybe experience. I don't know.
So anyway, Carlos, can we agree that faith is what we do to? Faith is shit.
Believing without knowing.
Yeah, no, believing without good reason or evidence. If we can agree on that.
For good reason, Dean, because let's say somebody, oh snap, no, what? Hang on, I just opened an enclosure and it had bees and wasps in it.
Oh no.
All right, I'm safe. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's no good reason. It's just that maybe you don't have a logical explanation or evidence, and you're just believing.
So illogical belief with no evidence. Can we classify it as that then?
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. So I've got no argument to an illogical argument with. Oh, look, here we go.
No, it's Jose here, right?
Oh crap!
This is Jose.
Jose.
What account?
Jose. Hello,
What account is this, Jose?
El pescadito.
No. What account is this? I don't see it.
Fish Guy.
Oh, Fish Guy. Okay, yeah. Then I'm Fish Guy.
What account is this? What the heck? Who am I?
So I want to share my position on religion, and then you might find it very interesting. Do you know when some religious people say that there's proofs of God, there's this and that and this? I'm not going to take any of these proofs, but I will tell you, for example, if someone tell me, go to work, do your work properly, be good to people, and at the end, I'll send you to a better place. Why not?
Okay, so wait a minute. So the problem with that is that's not what most religions say, especially Christianity. Christianity
And
will
even
say
some portion of Islam
Christianity
is, yeah.
will say, do what you will. Don't eat shellfish. Slavery is all right. You can beat your slaves as long as they don't die within the first 3 days. You can pass ownership of slaves onto other people. Oh, by the way, if you fuck up, murder a load of people, rape loads of people, it's all right if you ask forgiveness at the end. Now, that is my impression of the Christian Bible, and I do not agree with that. I agree with something called objective morality for a fucking species that we can all agree is just the right thing, independent to any book or anybody's opinions or anybody's tertiary opinions that were written down secondhand from an event that may or may not have happened because there's no evidence for. So objective morality rules for me, not a fictional book, I'm afraid.
How about logical morality?
Define logical morality.
Like the things that I said.
Yeah, but that is objective morality as well, because you know that if you know that based on that positive things are going to happen, or you're going to put something positive into the species that you exist in, and you're going to make something better for 1, 2, or more people, then you know that's a positive thing. Therefore, you are exercising objective morality in that case.
All right. And if one statement say, like for example, beat your slaves. So I decided not to take that part and presume that maybe it was misinterpreted. So I'm not taking it. That's my philosophy in religion. That's my path. And I think that what most people who take religious
right. Okay. So the Bible endorses. Well, it doesn't endorse, but it does not say, "Hey, slavery is bad." Yeah. So you got to look at it this way. At the point of slavery being a thing, has it always been morally repugnant? Yes. Great. Now, in an all-knowing, all-seeing, all-controlling deity that for some reason came to earth to sacrifice himself for the sins of what he created, with everything set in stone that he could alter, that he set the rules for, so that he could forgive himself or forgive us. It's a ridiculous proposition. For someone like that, it just makes no logical sense whatsoever. Now, in my view, if the Bible or God or a deity could have said, "Hey, dudes, look, I know you're primitive, but slavery is really bad. Just don't do it." No. Keep it for 2,500 years. Cause immeasurable suffering. I'll even allow you to beat them. I'll even allow you to pass ownership on. That to me, I don't respect. I don't give a shit who the author of that book is. I don't give a shit what it's written about. Morally, I will not stand by anything like that. Now, all the other things that are positive to a species, I don't need that book for. It is just logical and objective to me. There you go.
Yes, well, my point is, if the book tells you what you already going to do, which is you think or you believe is the right thing, so all you have to do to get the reward is just to believe in it. And by the way,
but wait a minute. You're doing a trade there, Khaled. Your trade, yeah, a trade. It's an exchange, a bargain. I'm not into that. You see, my objective reality states that I don't care what someone thinks about me, and I don't care whether I get thanks for something that I do. I just need to know that I've done it. I don't need a reward. I don't need anything for it at all, because if I did, it's no longer a good deed or a gift. It's an exchange. And all I'm doing is I'm selling a deed for something. That's not what objective morality is about.
I can see that point, and I would say yes. For me, I would do that. It's just I don't want to go to hell. I want to go to a better place, and all what I have to do is just to be a good person with people. So do it with believing, I get a reward. Do it without believing, I might go to hell. If you know the concept, what if?
Well,
what if this God? What if this?
Yeah. But I mean, so that's just edging your bets, and that's not something I can agree with. Unfortunately, I don't disrespect you for it, but it is certainly not something that I could agree with.
Yeah, I understand.
If hell is a place, if heaven is a place, I'm not going to trade anything to get there.
I'm sorry. I was taking a nap. I thought it was Bible study day.
Hey, wait a minute. Fish guy, you want to check in on Jose's show next week or something? He's agreed to have a big debate on all of this or something.
About I heard the show about the Bible and Christianity. Or something else.
How fun is that going to be?
I don't like the idea. I really don't like the Bible talks. It's going to be very weak. Over probably 50 people watching that day.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not watching that one.
Neither am I don't think. I'm not watching the Spanish one either.
Oh, I like that one. I'm from Brazil. I speak Portuguese, but I can defend myself in Spanish. I might jump in that one.
Nice. So what?
Yeah. Did you see the latest format or setting for Shonji latest episodes?
No.
Where he got like thumbs in the bottom, like the.
No, the first 10 minutes of his hangouts, he shows a lecture for Richard Feynman that is related to the topic he's going to talk about. So just to, educate people who didn't at all try to research that matter, so everyone would be on the same page, and it's just make the road shorter.
I can't believe Khaled, did you watch Jose's show today?
No, Sabah Noor. No, I don't think so.
Did you?
The what part?
The Rob Skiba when Spursky was presenting Rob Skiba's fucking video.
I wanted to get my first LS so bad. I wanted to just debunk that whole crap.
No, Carlos, did you see the Rob Skiba video where it clearly states on the right hand side, he's talking about atmospherics, and then at timestamp 30 seconds in, it says light bends downwards.
Yeah, I remember.
Did it? And so he's completely fucked up in that video because he's making light bend upwards. It's like, what? How fucking ridiculous can you be? To 1 second say, yeah, the atmosphere definitely bends light downwards. Yes, it does. Then why are you bending it up? Your fucking sun should be further away from the ground, not closer to it. Like ridiculous. I can't believe.
You mean Rob Skiba is wrong?
Just a little bit, Jose. As much as saying turn left here, and you think, no, fuck it, I'm going to go right instead.
It's not here, it's Fish Guy.
Even though he is also Christian, he says stuff like the stars are angels, because in the Bible, there's some parts in the Bible that they talk to about angels like they're stars and vice versa. So I'm like, dude, come on, really?
Are you live with this, or are you on YouTube or not?
Yes, I'm on YouTube.
Oh, okay. No, just asking. I didn't know this was online.
No, it's online.
I'm on my phone and I cannot multitask screens. Cheap Android.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh yeah, it's live. So I've got an audio clip of that. It's shit Android. Yeah, get it. Awesome. I like that.
No, I say cheap, barato, cheap Android.
Oh, right,
Android is the best. This one is just not powerful enough.
Damn it! I thought you said shit. Damn it!
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to have the Spanish flat Earth debate because Jose is gonna start about 2 minutes in Spanish, and then he's just gonna break into English.
I am subscribed to a group. They are from Spain. It's called No Obi. No in one word, and then the second word is OBI. No Obi. And I found it, and they do open hangouts. And I jump in one time or two times.
Send me a link, man. I want
to YouTube it. No Obi. That's a channel name.
No Obi.
No Obi. Yeah, that's a channel name.
Una prueba bien buena de la tierra plana. Have you seen
Is Carlos breaking up for anybody else?
Yeah, it's completely roboting.
I'm sorry. I have a cheap phone also.
Is it Android, Carlos? Is that what it is?
Yes. Is it better now? It's just a Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yep.
So Jose, have you seen that channel called Alerta Pastores Masónicos?
No.
This guy here.
Oh, he's not here. Jose's not here.
Jose is not here. This is Fishy guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fish. Have you seen that channel?
No, I have not.
I'm gonna send you some links. He does flat earth debunking, but it's in Spanish. I think he's from Spain or Argentina. I can't remember which one it is.
Good.
So,
I would love to have Iro Landucci, but I don't think he's gonna come in. And then Antonio Subirats, he's a racist, and I tried to invite him in, and he say no, so whatever.
Oh, it's Hispanic?
You're gone again.
Antonio Subirats uploaded a very nice video today about dropping a capsule that has some materials and free fall in a vacuum, and the materials, they didn't behave equally.
Uniformly, yeah.
Yeah, did you see that video?
I think Bob Nadella presented that in Globebusters.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Bob Noodle.
Like journalism.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to do that pawn, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I commented for Antonio.
Hey, Fish, didn't you used to listen to Jaron all the time?
I used to, yeah.
I bet you can't stand him anymore, can you?
Oh, Jaron is one of the people I look up to as a flat earther, yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot I was talking to Fish. Dang it. I'm gonna have to ask Jose that.
Yeah, I don't think Jose like him too much anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I actually exchanged some messages on Skype with him a few times, and
nice.
And I actually used to call his show on the radio on True Frequency Radio. And he just like, dude, I cannot believe you're a Christian, but you don't believe in the flat Earth. And I'm like, well,
Hey, wait, Jose just pull over with his wife. So, what? You don't have a phone? Okay, I'll let you use mine. Let me drop this call, and Jose is gonna use my phone on his account. I'll be back shortly.
He couldn't help it. Oh man,
this is split personality to a new level.
Yes.
But
this is like dimension.
Like, Earth is seriously flat.
Yeah.
You are ready to have a globaltion.
Oh, you're getting good at that. You're getting quite good at that.
Now, when you look at the globe, you realize that they have been like it's globeria.
What up?
I have to get really close to the mic to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You've been lied to, brother.
Are you ready for a globaltion?
I'm bombarding children's website with the flat earth truth.
Hashtag test the glove.
the glove. Anyway, Jose, so yeah, I bet you can't stand on listening to Jaron anymore, can you?
I tried the other day. A few days ago, he was a Globebuster-ish show. I was subscribed to him. I mean, still. And I type in something in the chat, and I got whacked immediately. I think it was either Karen B or Ace McCloud.
Airbnb.
So I said, you know what?
Hey,
Screw it.
they
I'm not
want.
listening no more. Yeah.
They used to block me, and I will just tell Jaron. No, actually, they used to block me from Jaron's channel, and I say, "Hey, Jaron, man, what's up, man? I'm blocked." And he will take care of it immediately. But they won't do anything in Globebusters because I put a few good super chats, and I mean, I don't troll much, but Jaron went to the what's it called, to the Stinky Lake, and he was live. And he was like, "Are we over here trying to look at the reflection of the mirror? Mirror reflection." And I sent a super chat and I said, "Hey, Jaron, if you're not able to see the mirror reflection, are you gonna say interesting? And quotes." And he started reading it, and then he stopped. And next thing I know, I was timed out by Karen B. Oh man.
Yeah, that's good troll. When you throw super
Jose,
chats to troll.
Skyfly say no way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
Yeah, right. No way, Jose.
I remember when Jaron hooked Jose up with that camera.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
like,
That was
yeah,
fun. I mean, good times for real.
Well, that's the only good thing about the flat Earth. You got a camera out of it, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, it happened. It happened. It happened. It was nothing planned or nothing. And I thank you very much. Still, the anonymous donor that bought the camera from Jaron.
I just think it's funny that somebody with the intention of you discovering the truth of the flat Earth, they gift you a camera, but instead you went out and did observations and critically, and then you realize that it's not flat and it's round. I just think that's
exactly,
irony.
being honest. And it's my interpretation of the facts. The little bit of footage that I caught with it is still uploaded. And I really want to do more. I wish I could go every single day to do observations. But I mean, if I decide to go on a bicycle or a car, it's going to be over an hour bike ride to go to take observations. It's not easy for me. I mean, it's just impossible.
And I think that you had there was like almost no chance that you would be able to find it, even if you saw it, since somebody would have given you something. So you were being biased. Because if somebody gave you a camera for a flat Earth observation, yet you still were able to see that objectively and say, you know what, and it's not flat. I just think that's really cool, because just like if somebody has a YouTube channel, they send him a tool to review, and because somebody's giving you something for free, there's going to be a slight bias, because you want that person, the company to send you more or something, and then you have something for free. So now, if you went and bought something on your own money, then you're like, hey, I better get what I paid for. So you're not going to be biased. So anyway, I just thought it was cool that, even though they gave you that, you still were able to actually make your own observation and your own opinion of what you were seeing. So go Team Jose.
Yeah, thank you. And in a near future, when I'm able to buy me a camera, I might buy me a D3200 or whatever, another nicer camera with a decent zoom, but not necessarily a Nikon P900 or P1000. I'm gonna research well. If I get a hold of chunk of money, I'll buy me some, and then I will pass this camera to somebody that really want to use it and do observations, and I will give it for free. I will not be Jaron that sold the camera, so I will not get any of it. I will pass it to somebody else.
All I can say is dibs.
No, it needs to go to an honest flat earther. And No, Jose, I think it's a magic camera. That definitely needs to be passed around flat earth.
I agree 100%. You're right. I'm gonna stop being selfish for a minute. That's a good point.
Yeah, it might go back. It might go. I mean, I think of Arwin all the time. I say, like, man, I wish Arwin had a P900 because he got a good view through the window. And if he learned to zoom in well and level it up or whatever, just do the observation and upload it and talk about it, interpret it, but don't hide footage to anybody if anybody want to use the camera. That's what I want.
All right, Jose. We need to pin this down. We need to have a meetup. this year over there by your area.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm honestly seriously thinking about it. Like, you know, if we could get at least a few more people, man, or we can just join the crowd of Red Rhetoric over there in is in Texas.
Yeah, nah, that's not gonna happen. Not me.
What's this in there? I don't think I would enjoy the gay jokes that much. And
No, if I was in Texas, if I was still in Texas, I would have gone. I would have gone, but nah, I'm too far. Florida, nah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we just need to set it up, man. I got some extra vacation days, so I want to go and do some observations too. So I don't.
Yeah. Let's see what we can plan out in the next few weeks or a month, and try to get a date, like for real.
10-4.
Yeah, there's a guy I mentioned it today, Mackenzie. There's one guy, A. Mackenzie. He's from here, Florida, and he wanna meet me, you know, to go fishing and hang out for a few hours over here. And he's a cool guy. He's a flat earther, but I never spoken with him. Hey, there's a black snake. Look at that. I'm looking at it right now. It's small, but it's there. Let me turn the camera, see if you can see it. Let me flip it. Oh shit! Holy shit! He went in fast. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
You see the little black snake?
Yeah.
Damn, he came in crossing fast. Look at it. Look at the motherfucker. There, I told you, there's fucking critters everywhere in this yard, bro.
Shit. They're not poisonous or anything, are they?
I don't think that one is. Ooh. Yeah, hold on. Flip the camera. Ooh, there he goes. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh shit, yeah.
I know, I'm not kidding, bro. I mean, I'm here sitting and I hear noises and big ass possum or raccoon like walking next to me. I go like, what the fuck?
Nice. Nice. Are you
Florida,
near Clearwater? Are you near Clearwater, Jose?
Yes. I used to live in Clearwater for like 6 or 7 years. Right now, I'm like maybe half an hour from Clearwater.
Yeah, I've been to Clearwater before. But Florida was way too hot for me.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
How long would it take you to get to Florida, Carlos?
I don't know how long it would take. Let's see. Let me look at it on the Google Maps. Because I'm in Alabama. I'm about 2 hours from the beach. So give me about 10 seconds. And my cheap phone will be able to respond. There you go. Look at that.
What phone have you got now?
No, I have a Samsung Samsung Crown, J7 Crown. It's like a watered down version for broke people. Let's see. Where did Jose say he lives again?
It lives a little bit down from Clearwater, I think. Holiday. Where now?
Okay. Holiday. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
344 miles. That would be 7 hours and 6 minutes.
That ain't too bad.
Not bad. I'll drive it. Maybe we can meet in Panama City, which is halfway.
No, I did say I wouldn't mind taking a bit of break from work and flying out to Florida for a bit.
Yeah, man, you should. We should. Yeah, I think so. I think around the end of the year, you know, when it's a little bit cooler, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I last time I was in Florida, I just couldn't deal with the heat. It's just I even went and stood outside in a torrential storm.
Yeah, normally when we go is during December, New Year's Eve, and it's pretty nice then. What's up, man? All right. Let's see. I gotta show you this. I need to make a observation like the one that the man of God did over here in this dimension. You know, put a light at ground level and then put a camera at ground level.
I think the bowling alley one would be best, Carlos.
Yeah. Well, this one actually has some undulations in the floor, and it seems flat, but once you put a laser under, you can see the imperfections, and that's the point, that there's almost no such thing as a perfectly flat floor. So anyway. Let's see. Can you see, Dean? I'll show you something. You see that projector mount that's retractable?
Oh yeah.
I designed that and built that myself.
Oh,
it has
nice.
a steel wire that goes down to a pulley and a ratchet, so you can pull it away whenever they play sports here.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I actually fabricated it myself, so pretty sturdy.
What, did you just sketch it out on paper or something?
Yeah, I just sketched it out on paper, and
nice.
Then I bought the pipe, and then worked out the dimensions once I actually had it physically on me. But yeah, I just sketched it out without a square pipe with holes, kind of like, like an erector set. So.
Yeah. Did I tell you I built my bed?
Built it?
Yeah. So I use Maya 3D program. So me and my girlfriend wanted to go out and buy a bed. Now I wanted one that was incredibly sturdy. I wanted one that would last forever, and I wanted it high quality, but I also wanted it at a certain height, yeah, because I wanted it to be so ergonomically designed that you don't get down into it and you don't get up out of it, you don't get down off it or up onto it, you get across and onto it. So which
you just go to a butt on it and then just
no, that would be sitting down onto it. That's not what I wanted.
No. That's what I'm saying. You just lean on it and then you just So
imagine if you stood with one leg and then tried to do a Superman with your other leg and your two arms, that you would just be able to transition onto the bed like that, and the only thing you'd have to lift is the leg that was previously on the floor. So So I went out and I looked around every single sort of like furniture store, and I couldn't find it at all. Couldn't find one. So we got back home, and I said, "Oh, sod this! I'll just design one." So I sat down in Maya. I got the dimensions for what I wanted, and I designed it, including all the retractable slats, all the supports, the storage that we're going to have underneath it. I used all the different types of wood that I wanted to, based off what I could source at this hardware store. And then I outputted it in an exploded diagram with all the dimensions and everything, and just went and bought all the raw materials, cut it, and had it assembled within a day and treated. Wow. And this bed is like a tank. I could take it apart and transport it somewhere, but I could also rest my car on it, and it wouldn't move. It's that solid.
What you use, like 4x4?
Yeah. Oh, for the legs, yeah, absolutely. Because I want to shape them. I wanted to leave room for putting little carvings in them as well.
You didn't want to know those squeaking.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you. Hang on. Thank you. What, Rachel? Okay. Yeah, you didn't want any squeaking whenever you got down to the hanky-panky, huh?
Yeah. But I put felt on it as well for the underside, because I got a wood floor. So yeah, I did it. It was a really good job. And now that I've got my 3D printer, I start fabricating all sorts of stuff.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Yeah, know nothing. Go on mute.
The fish leave? I mean, Jose leave? He just did, didn't he? Yeah, he just did.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go now because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's like me. Yesterday, I was we were all talking all the way until like freaking 3, and I stayed up editing video until 5 in the morning.
Oh, really? Shit.
And I got up this morning about 9.
I posted a link in the side chat to this, which is that Chris Berry debate.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
They're not on Skype because I can't see the side chat from here.
All right, yeah,
on my Walmart phone. You guys don't have Walmart over there, do you?
No, we have Asda, which was bought by Walmart. So, ish, I guess. Indirectly, we have kind of a Walmart. We have a Walmart-owned brand.
Yes. And yeah, so when I say a Walmart phone, I'm talking about very, very, just cheap, not great.
Yeah, so some of the best phones that you can get now on Android are like the OnePlus series. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah. Actually, almost bought one, but I was like, I don't want to have a $500 to $800 worth of phone on my pocket. It's more like $500. And I was actually almost I was in between deciding to just get another new phone or go flip phone. I mean, I was getting so sick and tired of spending so much time on social media, just doing the endless scroll.
Yeah.
And it just took so much time from me. I said, so actually, I don't go on Facebook anymore. And it's amazing the amount of extra time that I have. Because all I do is just talk to a couple of lads from Europe. But I don't spend much time on the phone really. And I just, I want to have more time to make content and stuff like that. But anyway, shoot, I forgot what I was saying. Darn me. What was I saying about the phone? Oh yeah, so I almost went flip phone, and just almost ditched my smartphone. But then I realized I was running a side business, doing TV mounting and stuff, and I needed to have access to the internet so I can look up prices and stuff on the spot. So I was like, well, so I thought about having an actual flip phone and having a tablet with 4G, so I don't actually have the internet on my phone. And if I really need to access the internet, then I can just go get my big tablet that is bulky, so I don't have that,
Well, yeah, you don't need a dedicated. I've got an iPad Pro 12.9 with a 4G SIM in it, but I don't actually need the SIM because it just I could just bind it to my phone and use my phone's data, which I've got lots of. So
yeah, I honestly I just am ready to just switch over to a regular phone that has no internet access. So I just have such an impact on people. I don't know. I'm talking to a mobile phone app developer over here, but isn't it like if you're trying to make money with an app, isn't it your objective to keep the people on the screen as much as possible?
It depends on your monetization model, your business model.
If you're running ads on the app.
Oh, absolutely, but I'm not a fan of that. I don't like. I'm a UX designer and I'm a traditional artist, so I don't want something that I can't control on the screen in the middle of my creation. That pisses me off.
Yeah, exactly. So I like I said, I don't let my kids interact with the phones or tablets or the internet for that matter. Or they don't interact with the phone, with the TV or anything that's connected to the internet. And I just kind of waiting until really have a sense of what discipline to be able to say, okay, now I can say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, and I don't get a tantrum out of a kid or to the point where they can't sit still without it. Like if it's never available, then they're never gonna consider it as an option. So they're never gonna say, I want to watch this, I want to play this, because it's never an option. So I'll say, hey, sit here quietly. So they do.
Nice.
Anyway.
Sorry, I've been away. Family.
Killing more little birds, making them scream. Yeah. Recording the screams of little birds for your doorbell. Jesus.
Oh my God! Now you're going to report me.
If I could, I would. Yes. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I might be able to do a net stat and get your IP, geolocate you, then report you. So yeah, give me a sec.
Oh, come on. No, I'm disconnecting now.
I wouldn't, and there'd be a lot of network address translation in between you and me that I'd have to figure out. So no, I can't be asked. And I'm drugged up at the moment on painkillers, so I probably won't have the aptitude to do it either. I've been thinking about this moon problem though, and I am going to create a new simulation that proves that I'm right to Rumpus, and then I'm going to get him to sign a thing saying he was wrong.
Did he see the simulation that you made?
Yeah, but he's under the impression that if there's random directions, that it doesn't hold up. He doesn't understand that from the statistics of me just saying I'm only going to deal. I'm going to take a sample of everyone that was destined for the moon. He doesn't accept that that is a fair. You know, that's a fair sort of like control. Yeah, a fair control to use. But like I say, I'll do one of random vectors all over the place and get it to run for, I don't know, a couple of minutes, and then see what the difference is. And I know, I actually deep down, I think I know I'm right, so it'll be good.
Well, I think it's still complicated issues because, for example, I came up with the concept that the initial direction should be into the average of the gravitational pull of the moon plus the Earth.
Yeah, but what you've got to realize though is this: it's based on this. The things at play are the magnitude of the two gravity wells, so the mass of the objects, basically, of the moon and the Earth. There's the mass of the projectiles, the meteorites, and then there's the speed of the meteorites and their direction. So they're all the things that can be at play. Now, the reason why I slowed everything down and bunched it all the way up is I think that would only accentuate a trend. It wouldn't change it. However, I do know that if I made it actual scale size with actual magnitudes of gravity and inverse square fall off, which it did have, but then had meteorites doing 35,000 miles an hour, then them being affected by those two gravity wells is not going to be great at all.
Yes, there's a lot of things to.
Yeah, so, but I'll run a simulation and I'll see. I think that's.
Varshaslav say Stingray, are you Dean Wiss?
Say again. What?
Someone called Varshaslav. Hello, Varshas. In the YouTube.
Wow, Dean Weiss. I don't know who Dean Weiss is. So obviously I am not Dean Weiss.
Is that Weiss like Russian Weiss?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait a minute. Dean Weiss. Let's have a look at Dean Weiss. Oh my God. Wait a minute. And this dude's live now, so he's definitely not me. I cannot be someone that is actually live now. I do not think. Oh, that would be quite impressive.
Well, I told him, I guess so, but now I was wrong.
Yes.
So, when you mentioned that you have something with the moon, I thought you're talking about David Marsh.
Oh, no, not yet. He's not sent me any of his images.
Okay, because there's something else I wanted to mention about his videos. Did you see his video, the moon race?
No. So what I do, Khaled, and I do this because it's the same reason. So Pete, sometimes I keep saying to Pete Shea when he says about the moon landings or anybody, I said, point to me the source which you say is fake. You don't even necessarily have to tell me why you think it's fake, but if you do, that's fine. And get me the source images and let me evaluate them. And their answer is always the same. Oh, well, all you need to do is go watch this video. And it's there like, no, I don't care someone else's opinions or presuppositions on a subject. I'm apt enough to discover it myself, and I've got the skills to be able to evaluate it. So is a case of, oh my God, Carlos is going to start a disco.
What you say?
Come on then, do some mixing. Go for it.
There you go.
Yes, pimp up my channel. What this thing? Oh, it moves on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
authorized.
They got a potentiality.
Nice. You know something, Carlos Khaled? I had one of them once, but it wasn't for music, and it was motorized like that as well. But it was for controlling real-time blend shapes on a CG character. So it's like, so I could do like facial expressions.
Man, that's old school, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember seeing that when I was 10 years old on TV.
Yeah.
You're so old. I have to show you something.
I want to speak, but the dogs are driving me crazy over here.
Oh, yeah.
There's more background noise than what you're saying.
Yeah, Carlos is really bad.
I'm kind of okay. So you got be patient, dang. You guys are always whining about my stuff.
Yeah, the amount of times that you were told to shut up today, Carlos, was actually quite impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like, look, there was a delay today, okay? And every time I saw you guys would stop, I start talking, and then Jose goes, and he's like, "Shut up, Carlos!" I'm like, "Dang it!"
Yeah.
And the stupid icon, profile picture is affecting me.
Yeah, that was funny. I liked that. That was funny.
Boom. Boom. That's big.
Gravity.
Nice. So you found gravity.
The gravity of the situation.
This year. No, I'm trying to show you something I made. In order to so they could watch the service in the back. There we go. So we have a camera here. It's just a HDMI going to a capture card so they can broadcast. So we have a room all the way in the back, and they didn't want to buy a HDMI cord, that's like 500 feet long. So what I ended up doing is making this thing. They have the HDMI coming out of the camera into a three-way splitter, and one of the HDMI feeds actually goes into here, and it goes into HDMI converter to a composite, and then from composite it goes to a composite to RF, and then from the RF it goes to an RF booster, and it goes to a coaxial wire all the way to the back.
Carlos, do you know that you could have done HDMI to UTP, like network cable, the RJ45 cable?
Yeah, how much is that?
Not a lot. I buy reels of that cable for, well
I mean, I know it's not five, but I'm saying how much is the equipment?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you might be able to get it for $60.
All right. So we already had the coaxial going to the back because in the past they had composite going back there. All I spent was $20 on the adapter. So we were able to do it. I told them, I said, okay, I'm gonna do this, but just know that there won't be HD.
Are we talking over here?
Like being like this.
Are we talking real money or British dollars? British money.
British.
Are we talking about dollars as real money or the British money?
Wait a minute. What do you mean, real versus British money? British money is still real, and it was around a long time before the dollar. No, 60. Okay. Yeah, £60. So what's that? 80. Yeah, it would have cost about $80. Yeah, $86 or something.
Did you guys notice how? I mean, it's so easy for me to see the tactics of the flat earthers like Nathan Thompson. He is so easy to figure out. Now, the case is I don't have the answers to the arguments. I cannot verbalize it and string the sentence in a really coherent way, but I can catch the tactics so easy, and I want to interject so much, but I don't gonna have the answers. I just want to interject because I see how they they just avoid to answer a question and commit to make a claim. I mean, I don't know, it's mind blowing to me. It's ridiculous.
Delusional. But you didn't used to be like that, did you, Jose? I've been watching your older videos, and you didn't seem to be like that.
No, it was more mellow, quiet in the download. It was more like, okay, all right, I just believe this is a flat Earth, and I think it's this because of. I didn't make too much claims. That's why I wasn't a big voice before. Well, who's breaking up? It wasn't me.
No, I think Carlos's connection just died.
I went Carlos on the same connection. Because you were breaking up and then he died.
Maybe it's an Android glitch. Did you watch me on the Nathan Thompson channel? I mean, is it bad?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I went with the Nathan Thompson and JM Truth, and I didn't know what I was gonna get myself into.
Was that Nathan Thompson's or was it JM Truth? Because I want to speak to that JM Truth channel.
Yeah, it was both. It was both in Nathan Thompson channel, and I jumped in the panel.
Right. Is it just an open thing, or did he send you an invite?
Yeah. It's an open thing. I mean, the Hangout link is in the description box when he does the nighttime. So I click on the description box. There's the Hangout link. I click and I jump on it, and I go like, they go, "Oh, JG Gonzalez, what's up?" And I go like, "Any evidence for a flat Earth?" That was my opening statement, and he all took off from there. It was good.
Did you see us all coming up? I suggested that do housekeeping, and I put a few in, and then other people started.
Yeah, I was reading that. Bro, I promise, I was thinking on doing in the 100, and I fucking totally forgot. I'm gonna have to take later tonight screenshots or maybe paste it in
well, just asking the channel or something for a good list that we can all think about and add them to, because the list isn't just like
yeah, it's not something narrow. It could be infinite. Yeah
it's pretty huge. And the daft thing is, all of them are pretty easy to falsify as well. That's the thing.
Yes.
If you wanted to prove these things false, you easily could. Why haven't you?
Yeah, I went on a break. I was at work, and I went to a smoke break outside, and I started scrolling up, and I saw the suggestion on housekeeping, and I was reading, and I was laughing myself, like, holy shit, this is good shit. But I was just scrolling up fast and seeing kind of many people throwing questions and points. But I have to review because I didn't read everything in detail,
Yeah. Now some of them are well worth keeping. They really are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good stuff for real. Like any evidence, like the flatter model of flat Earth as a whole.
No. What was it? Yeah, one of them was: is there any model that explains any single aspect of our reality at all? Nope, still nothing.
Yeah, but how disingenuous is that flat earthers ask for the globe model with everything working in one model, like everything working from the atmosphere to the gravity to the speeds to the distances, everything that doesn't exist. One model that put it all.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big problems there, and I think Chris is a bit disingenuous with this, is he'll say to my model, "Oh, do you have the atmosphere in there?" And he probably understands but doesn't want me to answer fully. My correct answer is no, Chris, because if I put the atmosphere in there, the sun and the moon move upwards, which is further away from what we see in reality, and I'm needing to get it closer to reality. So without atmosphere, it supports a flat earth more, but it still doesn't work. And it's like, they are very disingenuous. It's like, oh, well, it can't be right then. Yes, but if I put this in, it will not work even more for you guys. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I think the most honest approach is model versus model. So, okay, I show you a picture of Earth, an illustration. It could be CGI, it could be a composite, but I'm going to show you a picture of Earth. That's an illustration just as a visual on how Earth looks. I will expect the same from you. I don't want you to say like, oh, where is the how do the tides work in your model? No. I'm showing you an illustration, visual, visual, something to get the eyes on. That's what I will expect. Now, if I want to show you a model of gravity, then we'll kind of pull a different type of model. The Earth shape is going to maybe look different, the potato or whatever testicle Earth, and it's going to have different, shadings of colors, and it can be explained somehow. And then I expect the same from the flat Earth to give a model of gravity with some kind of equation or illustration, if I'm making some kind of sense.
Mm. But then, if you claim all that, you're in the danger of just doing what Nathan does, which is ask for this, but then not accept it. Not that they'll present anything, but at the end of the day, we know that anything that is presented, we won't accept. So it's like we're asking for something that we already know doesn't exist. So how disingenuous are we being when we ask for that?
No. We are being genuine, and the proof for that is that you and me and George, at one time, we were trying to make it work.
Mm.
You were one of us, and now you say disingenuous. No, we were honest. You make that dome, and you try to make the sun work for the flat Earth, but you failed.
I'm still not done. I will have more attempts at this.
Well, then keep trying.
Yeah. I've actually started rendering them out as well, Khaled, so that other people can use them.
How about this Analima movement from the sun and the moon? Would it make any difference?
It should, because it cannot be explained except by the globe.
Yeah, the problem. Well, it can be. I can simulate it for one observer, one observation point. So it'd work for you, Jose, but it won't work for anybody 50 miles either side of you.
And okay, so what you're trying to do is put two observers in two different points and looking at the same phenomena.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't work. I can get the flat Earth model to work, if there's just one observer there. But the trouble is trying to get it to work in any aspect when there's two observers, and it's bloody impossible.
But you know what? Let me devil's advocate for flat Earth, because let's say you want to model a sunset. So it's 6:30 p.m. You're sitting on the beach and you can see the streak of light coming down your feet, and you see the sunset, boom, 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 and there's a line. There's 1 mile along the shore of the beach, and there's people sitting in little chairs looking at the sunset. Every single person will be looking at the sunset, and the streak of light is coming down their feet. But when I see the person in my left, the further away, I don't see the light going to their feet. I see it going to my feet. So this is kind of, in reality, we all have our own perspective on things. So you can somehow model it for just one person, and not necessarily because you cannot put two person looking at the same phenomena. It doesn't necessarily have to be real, because in reality, in real world, there are two people looking at the same phenomena, and they look from their own point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's the same as the rainbow conundrum. We're looking at different rainbows, but the problem with the analogy using the sun is that rainbow is a single passive optical phenomenon. In other words, it can be just observable to me and then completely differently observable to you somewhere else. And there's no paradox there. There's no problems whatsoever. But if that rainbow was giving out energy, if it was giving out light, if it was giving out heat, then that rainbow cannot exist in that paradox anymore, because it's an active object. And the problem we've got is the sun is an active object. So it is giving out shadow. It is giving out light that causes shadow. It is giving out, radiation that causes heat. So it can't be observable for one individual in a different place to another. Obviously, it's light can, because light is this thing that's projected from it in every direction or over wide areas. But the problem that I've got is that sun always has to be in that geometric position in the sky for multiple observers, and that's the problem of why the flat Earth doesn't work.
But like,
I got a little challenge for you, Dean. Can you model this somehow? Do a little short, 1 mile long, and somebody looking at the sunset, and kind of do a light reflection on the water. And then when you move the camera to the other point of view, to see if you can see the same in a model program?
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
I have a question. Do you know the Sundogs?
But the problem with that, Jose, I'll come to the Sundogs in a second. But the problem with that, Jose, is a reflection again is not a reality-based physical object. A reflection is based off an incidence angle to yourself that is always to yourself. So reflections versus the physicality of an object don't match up. But I can show that, and that's one of Pete's arguments as well, actually.
Yeah. So it's harder to model something like this, like a reflection, a light.
Oh no! I can have reflections and refractions, and I can do all this kind of stuff. But it's still, those reflections are irrelevant to where, they don't affect where that physical object is. We can see two different reflections from the same object. That's true, but the reflection is not the physical geometry, and it's that physical geometry which is the problem. And I've tried doing it. I've tried doing Pete's thing. I've tried having this dome and then having the sun and the moon outside of the dome and underneath, so that all you're seeing is the reflection on the dome. And
that was not Pete. That was me.
Was it? No,
yes.
I did that as well. Or did I do it with you?
Yeah, when you and me, when George was with us. In the
hangout. Yeah. And I couldn't get it to work then either. So it's like, it's not as if I'm not trying. I am trying all these ways, but yeah, it just ain't working very well.
So a question about Sundogs. If you are standing beside a wall and the sun and the Sundogs are behind you and you're looking at the wall at your shadow, is it going to be one shadow or three?
One.
Aha, okay, you got it. So I just wanted to know, are you sure?
Well, I haven't looked into Sundogs, but in the realms of physical light, there will only be one, and that is just a constant. There's no, there's nothing there. Sundogs are an optical effect to the observer.
Like a glare in the lens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is, and that's the problem, is geometric reality does not lie. So there is only, it doesn't, I could set up multiple, I could show multiple optical effects that could create 2 suns, 3 suns, a different color sun. It doesn't change the geometric reality that this sphere is giving out a shit ton of electromagnetic energy in omnidirectional, and it's only doing it, once. But yes, I shall keep trying. But anyway, because it's now 1:30 in the morning, I'm going to get off, and I shall speak to you guys later.
I'm going to get out of here too. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Crows.
Right.
See you later.
Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Have a good night, everyone.